Welcome to the Ballin4God podcast. We're staying here right now, but we'll be sitting down here shortly. But it's our 5th episode. Can you believe it? We talked about it being 4 weeks last week. Now it's 5 weeks, and it's an all Ryan show this week.
All Ryans, man. We've got Ryan Goodisky, Ryan Algrim, Ryan Zeigler. Who's next? Ryan O'Neill? Who knows? But he has no clue. Russ says that's okay. We love these guys. Ziegler's over here laughing. No, it's going to be a fun. I think everybody's going to really enjoy what comes out Thursday night.
Yes, it was fun. I mean, obviously, I know all these guys. Goodisky, Marion athletic director, and just being on the sidelines with him, and same thing with Ziegler being on the sidelines. But he's a photographer, and then Algrim, long snapper at SIU. That's a lot of pressure, isn't it? Tons
of pressure. I only knew one of the 3 guests, and I've known Ryan Goodisky a long time. But Ryan Algrim, the long snapper at SIU, and then Ryan Zeigler with Field Focus. It was a lot of fun. I think people will enjoy. People will enjoy the show that we're going to put on for them today.
Yep.
Tonight, today, whatever.
So let's look back at last week's trivia. It was who was besides Gage Pearson, because Gage Pearson just won back-to-back MVPs at Christopher for the turkey tournament. But prior to Gage, who was the last person to win it? The back-to-back MVPs, and it was Hunter Wheeler in 2014 and 2015 for the Christopher Bearcats. And Triton came at us from Waltonville with the answer.
What was the name? Who won it?
Triton. And
that's awesome. How about my man Triton? He wins.
Yeah, he's a basketball player at Waltonville. I mean, just last year he graduated, and so he won the trivia for this week, and he's going to be on here soon. And obviously we had Ryan Zeigler on here today, and he got his free merch. We didn't recognize him on the show. We forgot to. We are now, and but he's getting his free merch. And you just come on the show and you get your free merch.
You get your free merch. It's exciting. We're getting new free merch coming up. All Stars and Stitches are making us some headgear. We're getting some new sock hats with the Ballin4God logo. Mm-hmm. Ballin4God, for God.
B4G.
B4G. B4G, baby!
Now, do you want to do trivia for this week, or do you want me to get to it?
Go ahead and get the trivia, then I'll give the shameless plug for Big Dave.
All right. So this week's trivia is kind of connects with one of the guys we have on here, as it completely connects. But Ryan Zeigler, not Ryan Zeigler. We got too many Ryans on this show.
Russ, come on. We're 19 hours in, guys. So
Ryan Goodisky was on this show, and this is our trivia question for this week. And
how about Ryan Goodisky will be on the show, because they don't know that we've done the show.
Yeah, Ryan. Our trivia question for this week is about Ryan Goodisky, and he guess what? He's been at Marion for a while, and
yes,
he's been at many other places. Obviously, Ziegler, his alma mater, and Mount Vernon, and I'm sure he's been 1,600 other places or connected.
Probably connected.
And but how many years has Ryan Goodisky been at Marion as the athletic director? It's obvious he's already made a big impact, filling in some big shoes, but he's made a big impact there as well.
Ryan Goodisky has done a great job, phenomenal job. He's in the top tier of athletic directors for the 618 area code. You'll love the interview we'll do with him today. A great job. But how many years has Ryan Goodisky been at Marion High School? And do you want me to go segue into the?
Go ahead.
Or do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
All right. All Stars and Stitches is our trivia sponsor. Screen printing, embroidery, signs, banners, trophies, plaques. I feel like I've done this before. There's one place, one stop, guys. All Stars and Stitches, 418 East Main, Benton, Illinois, 618-435-555-555-555. You can still get your Christmas stuff. Like Coach Aaron used to say, call Big Dave at
618-435-555-555.
R.I.P. Coach Heron. Love him. Love Rich Heron. I would love to hear the commercial again.
Yes.
I wish we could find a way to get it on the broadcast.
If we can find a way, we'll put it on.
We'll do it. But yeah, you still get your Christmas stuff. Give Alan up there at All Stars, and give him a call, Big Dave. We'll take care of you, man.
All right, now we'll segue into our first guest of the show, and it's Ryan Goodisky, one of 3 Ryans that we're getting into today.
All right, welcome back to Ballin4God. This is our first interview of, how many weeks is this now, Russ? 5th week, and we've been.
And we still don't have a home.
We don't have a home yet. We're in a new place.
New digs, though.
We're new digs. Thank God we're not in the kitchen. We've been joined by Ryan Goodisky. Ryan is the athletic director at Marion High School. Ryan, if you want to just kind of introduce yourself, and we're going to ask you probably 3,000 questions, but whatever you want to lead with, brother.
Well, I'm Ryan Goodisky, as you said, and I'm the athletic director at Marion High School. A lot of people don't know that I actually do a dual role for Marion High School. I'm also assistant principal. So that means I've got some assistant principal responsibilities as well. I do teacher evaluations and supervision and stuff like that. But
fun stuff.
70% of my time is spent as an AD. A school the size of Marion and having all the sports that we have is a big job, and it definitely is consuming for sure. So,
very good sports teams too. I mean, you got softball, baseball, basketball, football. Everybody's good.
We take a lot of pride in that for sure, man,
Yeah.
and blessed with a lot of good people along the way too. So,
Yeah.
How many sports? I mean, I looked a bunch of this stuff up, but I don't think people realize how many sports go through Marion High School.
23.
23.
Newest addition. We added esports
Can you name all
and
23?
girls wrestling.
Can you name all 23?
I probably could if you gave me a chance, but you put me on the spot. But yeah,
What did you say? You just added what?
esports last school year, and then officially girls wrestling. Like, we've had girls wrestling a little bit the last few years, but our numbers have really blown up. And I approached our superintendent board of education and said, look, I really think we need to create a head coaching job for our girls squad, and they believed in me, and we hired a coach in Luke Cullum, and he's doing an amazing job, and our girls are rolling. I think they're 9-2 or 10-2
Wow.
to start the year. We have 2 undefeated girls and about 15 girls in our program right now, but looking to build on that. So they got a ton of momentum going. I mean, we host a huge girls tournament in January now. So, but yeah, we've got quite a few sports at Marion.
That's a whole-
Esports. What? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Help me. I know Russ and Dr. Young. I mean, headset guy. How do you
Super
play
Smash-
esports? I mean,
Super Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, which is a game that most people are familiar with.
Sure.
Like, I played that with my daughter just a week ago on her Nintendo. But it's a spring sport. IHSA wise, there is a state series, there is a state championship.
wow.
We did very well last year, but it's kind of a year-long thing. It's also got a separate governing body that kids kind of compete in as a club throughout the school year to kind of brush up on their skills, just like any other sport. And man, we've got a big team. We got a ton of kids, and it took some other people. It took some people smarter than me to figure out how to acquire all the technology, because technology is super expensive.
Yeah, no doubt.
You got to have these souped up computers and monitors and the gaming systems. And I'm very thankful. We've got an unbelievable business teacher at Marion High School by the name of Kendra Wolford. She wrote some grants. So we basically got all of it paid for through a grant. And we can use the computers for classroom purposes in the business and CTE wing, and then obviously for our esports that benefit after hours and gaming.
Wow.
So it's
how,
pretty cool.
how do you guys decide scheduling and all that? I mean, who are all the schools with esports around here?
Well, I mean, you play anybody because you don't have to travel.
Yeah.
That's the beauty in it. But
Do they play from the rec room like we're in?
It's growing. It is. Salem's got a big program. All the way south down to Massac County, they've actually had a very good program for, probably about 10 years now. Carterville's got a program. The majority of schools are up north. Being on an IHSA committee the last several years, I talked to quite a few athletic directors from around the Chicagoland, and gosh, some of them tell me they're building like esports rooms that are like $100,000+, almost like they're arenas.
Sure.
So it's big, and my selling point is it's a way for kids to continue their education after high school. There's scholarships involved, and
Well, SIU has it.
yes, they have an unbelievable esports gaming room over at SIU now. So
And I was looking
big
at
time.
it. They got conference standings for that too.
they do, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's just going to continue to blow up. I mean, that's just kind of where we're at in this world, and how we're connected, and the beauty. Like I said, it's amazing. Like, our kids today could hop on and play Springfield High School right after school without traveling.
Wow.
So
Not to worry about buses.
no. So now I will say, like, the state tournaments that they hold, those are in person. So they set up a lot of times like an arena or like a gym with all the monitors and gaming systems and stuff, and it's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
So looking at the other sports now, the football team obviously made the playoffs again.
Absolutely.
You had obviously some of the top athletes again, and now you're shifting gears into the winter sports with basketball, wrestling, and probably a million different other things going on.
Yeah.
But what's it like transitioning from fall to winter to spring? How is that transition for you?
Well, it starts with a vacation, believe it or not. I pour a lot into the fall. I'm a 12-month employee, so I'm there all summer, just trying to prep for the school year, which I love. There's a lot of people that obviously in the world of education like being off in the summer months, but I like to work. When I was a teacher at Mount Vernon, I used to go stir crazy being off in the summer. So I used to say, man, the first week off as a teacher was great, but after that, it's like, what's next? For me is, you grind all through the fall, hoping your teams, praying your teams do amazing, which we traditionally do, and we did this fall. And then there becomes like a 2-week break essentially before we start winter sports. And, they give me vacation days, and I take 4 or 5 vacation days to kind of collect myself and pause and focus on my mental health. And I actually spend it out in the woods with my dad. We've got some land just south of Benton, and we deer hunt for the week and just catch up, because he lives in Collinsville. Yeah, there's deer head up there. But it kind of gets me in that mind frame for winter because, I think, Russ, you see me, I'm pretty much at everything, and I try to be at everything, but also still try to be a good dad and a good husband and have a home life as well. So it goes a long way.
You touched on a little bit, all the sports that Marion has, and I'm not trying to. My father, I come by this naturally. I'm a shameless promoter of whoever's sitting right there. It's in my blood. But obviously, I'm a Benton guy. They cut me open. It's maroon. But everyone in Southern Illinois in the 618 area code looks to Marion for what you guys have, for your facilities, your coaches, your administration, your. Did I say facilities already? Yeah. I mean, honestly, everything is very nice. The setup is really good. I've had boys that have had a chance to be over there for different sports. The Heck Center, everything is amazing over there. What's it like being in your shoes? I know you got to schedule 23 sports, but you've got the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, Ryan.
Yeah, and it's hearing you say that kind of takes me back 10 years when I first started the job in 2016, and I'm 32 years old, and I just, like you said, I just got the keys to, in my opinion, still to this day, the best AD job in Southern Illinois, and to me, the premier school, the flagship school, as I say. So my first thought was, don't screw this up. You know what I mean? And I made a commitment basically right then and there that I was going to outwork everybody. I think that's kind of in my DNA as a Franklin County boy, and growing up in my family. It's a blue-collar family, and it's you roll your sleeves up and you do whatever it takes to get the job done and do it to a certain level and a certain standard. And, having to follow an athletic director at Marion and Mike Shornack, who was there for 20 years and everybody loved, was a lot of pressure for a 32-year-old, man. But I always felt like I had to be myself. I couldn't be another Mike Shornack. I didn't want to try to copy things that Mike did. My thoughts in that first year was, okay, don't screw this up. Learn the traditions that the school, the kids, the community love. Don't mess with those. And then after year one, put your tweak on some things. And that's essentially what we've done. And, it took till probably about year 4 or 5 where I truly felt like I made my mark on the athletic department. As they say, you got to get the right people on the bus. And, man, we've got the right people on the bus. We have some amazing coaches. I've got not just my head coaches, but I've got assistant coaches that could be head coaches, and we have built some amazing staffs. And I've always felt, even when I was at Mount Vernon as a coach, Marion has talent. There's always talent coming through Marion. And if you can get the right adults in place of those programs, the magic can happen. And, we've really seen that transpire the last 4, 5, 6 years. And guys, you got to think, I don't know if you're familiar with the South 7 Gold Cup.
Yeah.
We made that a priority because when I took over the job in 2016, Marion had not won a South 7 Gold Cup since 1985.
Wow.
And I was just shocked. all the great athletes, all the great coaches, the teams that have come out of Marion, they hadn't won one in over 30 years.
Explain to the listener on the podcast, what is the Gold Cup?
It's-
I know Russ knows, Dr. Young, no clue.
It's an interconference, basically, championship to where throughout the entire year in every sport you have a point system, and you get assigned points based on your finish.
Boys and
in the
girls.
South 7 Conference standings, boys and girls. So, for instance, if you finish first in girls basketball, you get 6 points. If you're second, you get 5 points, and so forth. So you add all those up throughout the entire year, and at the end you crown a champion and you get to put a banner up and you get a trophy. We hadn't done that since '85. So immediately that was goal number one is, hey, we're going to start small. Let's start within our conference. How can we be better within the South 7 Conference? And then just kind of grew it from there. Now it's more postseason talk and, winning sectional titles and getting to super sectionals and elite eights. And, of course, we want to win a state championship, and we did that in cross country a couple years ago, So it's been a major process, but I think the key, honestly, has been the hard work, the commitment to the blue and gold, the idea that, hey, I'm not going to let anybody outwork me, and I'm always going to stay ahead of the curve. I asked Doug Creel whenever I was leaving Mount Vernon, what kind of advice do you have for a 32-year-old man that's getting ready to take on this big job in Marion that has zero administrative experience or athletic director experience? And, he talked to me about things about, protecting your coaches and working hard and staying ahead of the curve at all times. And I took that to heart, and I never look back, and that's what I've done.
What made you want to be an AD?
That's a great question. I was at a crossroads, I felt, in my career. After 10 years at Mount Vernon, I had established myself as a teacher and a coach there. I'd coached football and track. And, a good friend of mine, Jared Shaner, he had been, Coach Dan Mings, who I owe a ton to. He's the head football coach at Mount Vernon. Well, he brought me in initially to coach football with Mount Vernon. Then I think after my third or fourth year, he left and went to Johnson City. And Jared Shaner came in, okay? And Jared Shaner, same thing, amazing coach, probably one of the most organized, detailed, hardest working coaches I've ever been around. It's a shame he didn't have more success at Mount Vernon because he's truly one of the best coaches I've ever been around.
Big FCA guy.
Yes, huge FCA guy. And you see the success now he's having at Dixon, being a principal and a head football coach. How many of those do you know? That tells you the work ethic and the commitment the guy has. But when Shaner was leaving and he told us that he was taking the AD job at Dixon, I kind of felt like I was at a crossroads in my career. Do I want to go for the head coaching position of Mount Vernon football, which, to be honest, Dan Mings was grooming me for? And I think a lot of people internally saw me eventually in that role. I don't know if I would have got it right then and there. But then this AD job opened up at Marion, and unfortunately Mike Shornack, he had cancer, he passed away. They had a couple interims. One of them ended up being Carl Schweitzer, who's a dear friend of mine, an amazing mentor that taught me a lot in a short time. This job opened up. And I always told my wife at some point in my career that I wanted to be an athletic director at a school that had amazing athletes, adults in terms of coaches and teachers, community sport, resources, and that school was Marion. Well, this job opens up, and of course, I don't think I've got a shot at it. And I wasn't going to apply. And it literally came to the night. It was a Sunday night, and the job posting was closing at midnight. And my wife looked at me. I remember I was sitting on the couch, and she goes, if you don't apply for that job, you're going to regret it. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to apply for it. I got nothing to lose. About 5 days later, I'm getting a phone call that I've got an interview. Still think I have no shot. And I remember coming down, it was February, and I drove down, and it was one of those odd, 75-degree February days in Southern Illinois. I had the windows down my truck going down the interstate, and I felt great because I felt like I had nothing to lose. And I went in that interview and was just myself, and we talked for probably an hour and a half, and when I come out, I was a little freaked out. I called my wife. I said, I just got out of there. She goes, you were in there for an hour and a half? I said, yeah, we talked, and we talked a lot. And I said the very last question, I said the superintendent, Dr. Keith Oates, fantastic superintendent, he asked me, he said, if you get this job, are you guys going to move to Marion? And I said, we're all in. And I just had that feeling, and sure enough, he ended up calling me about a week later and offered me a job, and the rest is history. And I actually found out, this is kind of weird too, I actually found out I got the job. Mount Vernon, Braden Fitzgerald's senior year, unbelievable basketball player. Mount Vernon was playing at Marion on a Friday night, and I found out I got that job, and I had to keep that secret, sitting in the bleachers watching Mount Vernon Marion at Marion until the till the end there. So it's kind of neat how things ended up working out. So.
Yeah. So talk about, you're speaking on some great athletes. Talk about the athletes you've got to have. I mean, obviously this year, Callahan Roper, but then there's many more, like you mentioned earlier, Vincent Newsom and Ethan Simmons, and just so many.
I think about this. I thought about this on the way down because I wasn't sure the questions you guys would ask me. And I had a feeling this was going to come up because we have had some unbelievable athletes in my time, some all-time greats. I feel like each year we're talking about the records that we're breaking, not only just, Marion high school records, but like state records. Callahan Roper, first Southern Illinois quarterback, throw over 3,000 yards. Not to mention Sam Atkins and Junius Thomas and Alex Hendry and all these other guys, like, holy cow, if I constantly think, like, if Callahan Roper wasn't around, everybody would have been talking about probably Junius. And if Junie wasn't around, then everybody would have been talking about Sam and vice versa. So, you got to go back a couple years. To me, one of the greatest that I've ever seen of any sport is Dylan Nally. Guys, Dylan Nally.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, when you're talking on a national stage, a kid that is talked about across the country and everybody knows his name, to be as humble of a young man that he was and the best teammate you've ever seen in your life. That's why our cross-country program over the last couple of years is still super successful, because Nally was such a leader and an impact guy as a teammate that when the Greer twins were freshmen, he taught them how to train. He taught them how to take care of their bodies. He taught them how to practice hard. And, nobody even talks about Mekhi Lomax. If Dylan Nally's not around his senior year, everybody be talking about Mekhi. Mekhi's one of the greatest runners to ever come out of Southern Illinois, too. You know what I mean? Ended up being an all-stater and a part of the state championship team. Vincent Newsom. Russ, you mentioned Vincent Newsom. Vincent's probably one of the greatest football players I've ever seen, but not just football. He was a heck of a basketball player, too. That year, his senior year in 21, we go to the quarterfinals. We're at Kankakee, got a chance to win it. We're up with 63 seconds left, and they end up scoring and beating us at the very end. But Vincent Newsom was the best player on the field. And that's saying something, because Kankakee had a safety going to Michigan.
Wow.
And everybody, even the Kankakee side, was talking about Vincent Newsom and his 250 yards and 3 touchdowns he had that game, Jaden Lacey, I mentioned earlier. Jaden Lacey, in terms of all-around athlete, probably the best I've seen. I mean, Jaden, unbelievable football player, had a great senior year, then goes into basketball, plays for Gus as a senior, helps lead us to a huge upset of East St. Louis in the sectional final at Centralia. We go on to the super sectional, and then comes out in track. He was like a 23 or 24-foot long jumper. He was like number 1 in the state at one point in time in long jump. And then, like, Coach Baker going in the conference meet said, Jaden, have you ever high jumped? And I don't think he had done it since junior high. And he's like, I feel like we could steal some points here. And he throws Jaden Lacey, I think, 1 or 2 practices, and Jaden Lacey goes out and high jumps like 6'11" in the conference meet.
Wow.
I mean, just crazy stuff. Jersey Biddle on the girls' side of things. Karis Ryan, one of the grittiest softball players you'll ever see. We have been super blessed with some amazing boys and girls in my time. And I tell people all the time, that's the best part of my job, because I think our kids at Marion have figured out, like, their moms and dads and their grandmas and grandpas are their biggest fans, but they know I'm one of their biggest fans too, and I get a front row seat to it.
Ryan, last week, Brad Wilson was on the big show with us. And Brad's a really good friend of mine. Brad, has 53 different jobs. And one of those jobs is the cross-country coach at Benton High School. He told the story last week on this show. I know Russ remembers, Dr. Young, I know he remembers because he's really into the show. I think he's asleep over there. But
he's out of here now.
I didn't know where he's at. But he told the story. No one's around, and Dylan Nally and his dad do you remember the story?
Yeah.
Doing this workout. I don't know if you heard it, but Brad, it was unbelievable. Brad said this kid's going to Indiana. He's obviously an unbelievable runner. And they're somewhere, where was Brad at with?
Was that Benton track?
Who's the Benton track. And the Nallies are out there, and they said he's going to run 4400s. And Brad said, what'd you say? I'm not joking.
Yeah.
4400s.
Yeah.
40.
He sat there and watched the rest of it, he said.
Brad said, I sat there and just watched the kid. And he said, who knows if he'll be an Olympian, if he'll be an NCAA champion, whatever he'll be. But, you talk about work ethic. You talk about being a Franklin County boy. But, here's the thing. I got two sons that play sports, and we got a Division I athlete sitting over here, and I'm a Division I eater, but or close. That's something that's in you.
Yes.
A coach can't do that.
And was at an early age. Like, probably my favorite Dylan Alley story is when he was in 5th grade. I have no idea who this kid is at the time. He's in 5th grade. He's not even in junior high yet. And his sister, Hannah, who, by the way, was a Division I softball player, ended up at Loyola. Hannah's playing high school ball. And it's a cold March day. It's like opening week of the season. And at the Chris Complex, we have basically a mile-long track around the complex. And this little boy just keeps, guys, I look at my watch. He's been going for like 45 minutes. I'm like, who is this kid? Well, then I meet his dad, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's my boy Dylan. He's in 5th grade. We're training. He's a runner. Hey. Gosh. We saw it right then and there. That's when I knew, holy cow, this kid could be special.
Is this serious?
He's getting adjusted.
Unbelievable. I'm going to throw something out at you that I don't know what I just said. Out at you. That's Franklin County coming out at me. We do have 4.
It's all right. I speak it.
We do have 4 Franklin counties in here. Talk a little bit about a guy. You said blue collar. That means something to me. Talk about a guy coming from Zeigler Royalton High School, a small school. What's the enrollment now?
141, I think.
Russ knows. I was going to guess 100.
It's on 141 or 148, something like that.
I was going to guess 100.
And look at where you're at now. Talk about your roots a little bit.
I tell people all the time, when I was coming through Zeigler Royalton school system, guys, I had unbelievable teachers. My teachers are who truly inspired me to be who I am today. It started in junior high with a guy named Jim Chamness. He was my math teacher. I've told this story before, I think on another podcast, but Jim really inspired me, just the way he handled his class. He was so good. He was that balance of, hey, he had discipline, but he had people skills, but he also made you understand difficult math like that, David Gwill, and then you roll into high school, and you got guys like Bob Townsend and Jay Williams, who eventually got me out of my shell and got me in the drama club program there. I was shy as can be, guys. I couldn't stand up in front of 10 kids at ZR in a classroom and give a 5-minute speech over whatever without shaking like a leaf. And Jay Williams saw something in me as a freshman and sophomore and convinced me to come out for the drama club. And each year, he kind of gave me a small role. I first started as a tech guy, even though I don't know how to operate any of this stuff. But the next year, he gave me a role where I was kind of like a silent character. I was kind of a funny guy, but had no words, but I came out on stage in front of everybody. And eventually, my senior year, I was singing songs and doing a musical and acting out an entire play in a starring role. And I tell people all the time, Mr. Williams, I think he changed my life because now I can come on and talk to you guys with ease and, crowds of hundreds of people, and give a speech and not even bat an eye. So, but, grow up in ZR is hard, it's a community of hard workers and, there's not a lot of, wealth in our community and we don't have the best resources and facilities, but the one thing about ZR is it is such a tight-knit community. They have the biggest hearts, and I feel like that really rubbed off on me. Obviously, my parents played a huge role in that. My mom, she's just the best, guys. My mom is just, her kindness to people and caring and wanting to do for others really rubbed off on me, and that's why I've always tried to be the same way. No matter how aggravated or mad you might get at somebody, I've always felt like I come back to my mom, like, you forgive and you move on, because life's too short. But that's ZR in a nutshell, man. Tough, blue collar, but huge hearts and will do, for anybody. And you got a guy over there by the name of Riz. We always called him Riz.
Adam Ross.
No, not Rochelle.
Randall
Risley.
Oh, Randall
My
Risley,
goodness.
sure.
Brain
Yeah.
fart. He does the Coaches versus Cancer.
Sure.
And leads the
look
state.
how much money he's saved, or not saved, but fundraised over the years.
Leads
of
the
coaches.
state in funds from
Unbelievable.
little ZR.
Sure.
So that tells you everything you need to know there. That's
Let's have
that's
Riz
the
on
community.
sometime.
We do need to get him
Yeah.
on.
Be good.
Riz is fascinating. He was my bookkeeper.
Yeah.
All those
Oh,
years.
yeah.
And a big fan of mine, and I'm a big fan of his. He's just a wonderful guy.
He's
Great
probably
community.
multitasking while he's doing that too, taking some pictures or something.
Yeah.
He's always out there on the sidelines for Christopher, ZR, everybody.
Yeah.
Did you tell Ryan that I know you've been on other podcasts, and here's the thing: we're shameless, so you can say any podcast you want or anything on here. We cross party lines all the time. But does he know we're on for like 3 hours together?
3 hours one time. Hey,
We're just gonna keep asking you questions, man. Because the beauty of this not being live, we can just edit
you
whatever
can just cut it up.
We can do whatever we
just
want
a little bit
with
of a side tangent here. Bob Townsend, you mentioned.
Yes.
Is he in relation to Justin Townsend? Do you know?
No.
I didn't know.
No, he was my biology teacher, and my goodness, guys, you want to talk about a hands-on teacher. Like, we were in the Arboretum at ZR High School we had behind our high school. We're learning about plants and leaves and stuff, and we just did a lot of cool hands-on stuff in his class, and he had a great knack for relating to kids. But no, I don't think any relation to Justin.
I just didn't know. You don't hear that last name very often.
I'm going to bring you back a little bit. I took you out of Franklin. I'm taking you out of Franklin County and taking
Okay.
you back to Williamson,
Okay.
to the land of milk and honey now. But South 7, ever changing. Talk about it. I know you're on the forefront of this. I know you're a big part of it. But I mean,
on Facebook where you could put your relationship status. I think if we could do that right now for South 7B, it's complicated. I think it's what we'd mark it as. It really is complicated.
who's in, who's out?
Okay,
I mean,
so
if people don't know.
This is the final year of Centralia being a part of the South 7 Conference. Centralia is leaving next school year. They were a charter member. They've been a member for, 80 plus years.
Yeah.
So that was a huge shock this summer. Gonna miss those guys. I've grown really close with truly their entire administration and some of their coaches. Obviously, we want to beat the Orphans and the Annies, but they're great competitors, and it's great competition for us. But they are leaving. They're going to the Cahokia Conference. Now, before that move happened, back in the spring, we added Highland. So the Highland Bulldogs are coming into our conference next school year. So we went from being super excited, being back to 6 teams like when we had Althoff before they left us, to we find out this summer that Centralia is going to leave, of all people. And so next year we're going to be back to 5 teams. So it's going to be Marion, Carbondale, Mount Vernon, Highland, and Cahokia next year. Any schools out there want to join the South 7, hey, come on. We have vacancies. We'll take you.
How small do you think that you would accept, like school enrollment wise, how small do you think you'd accept to join?
I think obviously we're looking for a competitive balance, so I mean,
It's got to be something bigger with as many kids and sports you offer, right? It has to be something bigger.
In terms of Southern Illinois, and I know it's not going to happen, but we've looked at and try to get a Carterville, try to get a Heron.
Sure.
But from there, you're looking more at like those Mississippi Valley schools that just blew up and went to the Southwest.
Sure.
The Triads and the Mascudas and the Waterloos. Those are more appealing to us. We try to find schools similar to our size, has the same sports. And
I'm
those
sure
are
it's a little
great
tough.
schools. Those are great schools that we want to compete against. Those are the schedules we want to build each
I'm
year.
going to ask you about the T word. I know he's thinking it. Travel.
Yeah.
I mean, travel's got to be. I've looked at your schedule before, and I know. I was the AD. You've been there 10 years. I mean, talk about.
Yeah.
I read an article about you a few years ago. You were already scheduling like games 4 years in advance for football. I know it's been tough. There's been times you guys have had to go out of state for football games.
Very difficult, especially early on, and then it's about to get probably tougher again now that Centralia is leaving. But yeah, I mean, a 2-hour trip to us is normal.
Yeah.
Where I hear some of these river schools complaining about an hour and 15 long, trip. Massac County, obviously, they've been doing it forever, so they understand where we're coming from. But, an hour and a half to 2 hours is kind of where we're at and kind of our normal thing, and our kids are used to it. But we have several trips throughout the year in each sport to where we're 3 hours plus.
Yeah, I know Callahan, he was telling me they got back at 1 o'clock in the morning one time. And
Yeah. Callahan's traveled a lot because Callahan plays in 3 of the biggest sports at Marion and toughest schedules. And when you want to play the best, you got to travel. And that means sometimes on a weekend, if you're going up to the Springfield area to play, then so be it. But like you said, we've gone to Missouri, we've gone to Tennessee, Kentucky.
Played like an Ohio school one time in football.
We've been all over the place, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's just, me and Lee Bennett talked about this. Marion is almost become the Quincy of Southern Illinois, where, Quincy, the northern school, big northern schools, great school, great athletic programs, nice community, like 2.5 hours from anything their size.
Sure.
So they're traveling 2.5, 3 hours for conference games. I can't see us doing that. I don't envision Mount Zion being a conference team for us one day. But like I said, the Metro East, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah, it's I know it's tough. I hated seeing Centralia lose. That was probably one of my favorite teams to cover. And now they're creating a mega conference, it feels like, over there in Cahokia.
They are.
It's how many teams are up there? Like 18 maybe?
There are, and that's what, obviously for us.
It's like the Big Ten, but there's like 60 schools.
Yeah. Well, and that's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
They went from 4 1-hour trips to, I think they doubled it, you know. So we'll just see how it all shakes up. I've talking to the others, we're not going to try to do anything irrational. Let's just kind of hold our water, see how things transpire the next couple of years. Maybe somebody gets unhappy with something. Who knows? But I think what could really change, what could really rock the entire state is the football playoffs and the expansion.
Yeah.
I think that'll slow down the conference carousel if schools vote this month to expand the football playoffs. That's the idea behind it anyway. I'm on the legislative commission with the IHSA, and I had a vote, and I based my vote on our district and what our legislative district wanted, and our legislative district wanted to see the playoffs expand, and I think the number one reason is that, so the conferences stop moving.
Ryan, explain to the listener, the viewer out there, when you talk about expansion with the playoffs, what that could mean.
Yeah, so basically we would be going from 32 teams to 48 teams. You're adding more teams to the playoffs. So, in recent years, and this hasn't been common forever, but in recent years, you're seeing some 4 and 5s now getting to the playoffs, which has been kind of odd. Well, that's because of 8-man football.
Sure.
So many schools in Illinois have went to 8-man football. 11-man, the playoff landscape has changed. So now you're seeing some 4 and 5s get in. But if they expand the playoffs like they're talking, then, of course, now you're going to have some 3 and 6 teams get in. And, again, the good teams, the 9-0s, the 8-1s, they'll probably have a bye week.
Okay.
And you can look at that 2 ways. As a coach, I can see going both ways, where if you're rolling, you don't want to stop. But maybe you're still pretty good, but you're banged up, and your guys could use an extra week of recovery. It could benefit you, So we'll see what happens. Schools are voting right now. The voting closes, I think, this week, at the end of this week or next week, and we'll know the answers soon. See what the schools chose.
Well, I think that's kind of wraps it up for our segment. Unless you have something else.
Oh man, I had 2 more. Russ.
Okay. I didn't know you.
I had 2 more. All right, Gus Gillespie, 550. Was that last night? A couple nights ago.
Forgot about that.
You hired Gus.
Yep.
Talk about that was one of your first big hires at Marion. Talk about Gus. For people, maybe kind of explain who Gus Gillespie is. I know him, but
in a weird way, I've always felt connected to Gus because we both spent time at Mount Vernon, but we were never there at the same time. Okay, but we had a lot of mutual friends in Mount Vernon. And then, of course, when the Gillespie family started going through everything with their son Gunner, I was in Mount Vernon. I was hearing that through our mutual friends. And that was tough. And I didn't even know the Gillespies at the time, but that was super tough to see any family go through that. And, when their small child has cancer and the battle and all that. So I've always felt connected to Gus. But it's funny how things work out in life. You know, eventually I become the Marion High School athletic director. Gus, of course, is down at Marshall County. We have a boys basketball job opening, and I get a phone call, and it's from Scott Gammer, again, a mutual friend of ours. And Scotty calls me and says, hey, I just want to let you know that I saw you have a boys basketball job opening, and Marshall County has decided to let Gus Gillespie go. And Scott's like, you got to get this guy. So I'm like, give me a cell phone. So I called Gus immediately. Well, that weekend, Gus happened to be traveling to Mount Vernon to see some friends. And I convinced him, I'm like, hey, on the way back down, on your way back to Marshall County on Sunday, just, hey, stop by for like 10 minutes. I just want to meet you. I want to show you our school. I want you to see it. I think we have something special here in the making. I got to get the right captain of the ship. And so it worked. Gus came and met me on a Sunday afternoon, and I gave him a tour of the facility and said, man, I really hope you apply for this job because I think you're the missing piece. I said, I feel like we've got some talent here. And lo and behold, I hired Gus. And it wasn't easy in the beginning. It took some time, to gel. And of course, Gus and his family went through a tough year with everything going on in Marshall County with the school shooting that year because his daughter Garland and Janet were still at Marshall County. Janet was a teacher. Garland was a student. They had that shooting. Sure. Garland was nearby and had to run for her life. And that was a scary deal, even though I wasn't there. I mean, I was coming into school that morning at MHS, and Gus is flying out the door saying, I got to get to Marshall County. There's just been a shooting, and Garland was nearby. I mean, my heart just sank.
No parent ever wants to hear that.
Yeah, so Gus is taking on this new team, trying to drive it from Marshall County. We've got all this talent. It's not gelling. I still remember the West Frankfort Midwinter Classic. We were in it, and we played Cairo. And this is no knock on Cairo, because Cairo's had some unbelievable talent over the years. But that's a game we win by 25. We lost. And Gus called me after the game on his way back to Marshall County, to his home, and was like, Ryan, I think I might have made a mistake. This ain't going well. And, of course, how do you think I feel at that time? I'm like, man, I've got you in this mess now, So I'm even doubting myself as a second-year athletic director. And I convinced him to just to hang in there, and I feel like the pieces were there. And next thing you know, we caught fire and we gelled at the right time, and we go on this run and we win the regional at Carbondale, and then we go to the sectional, and I think in the first game we beat a really good Columbia team. Well, then in the sectional championship, who do we got to play? East St. Louis Flyers, and they got two 7-footers. They got two Division I 7-footers, and truly, guys, that game I'll never forget it because they controlled the whole game from pretty much the opening tip to about the first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And they were up anywhere from 12 to 15. Then all of a sudden we cut it to about 8 with about 6 to play. And you could feel it in the gym, like the tide was turning. And next thing you know, we've got free throws to end it in regulation, and we actually missed one to win it. Thankfully, our kid tied the game, sent it to overtime, and Gus ran the old picket fence play, the out-of-bounds play, and Cole Schaefer hit the three at the buzzer to win it, and pandemonium, and we go on to the super sectional and almost went to state tournament. We lost to a great Springfield Southeast team by like 4 or 5, but we were right there in the end. And his practices, I love. If anybody that knows Gus, especially his coaching buddies, Coach Weinmuller knows this. He is such a teacher. Like, guys, going to Gus Gillespie practice and watching him teach, it's a master class. It's no different than I'd walk out on the football field and watch Kerry Martin. It is a master class. The way those guys teach and relate to kids, and they both were the same build to where they have the discipline piece. They'll get after you, and they're going to hold you accountable, and they're going to be hard on you at times. But our kids buy in and relate so well to guys like that, and Gus, that they'll run through a brick wall for him, and I think that just shows you where we're at as a basketball program and the success we're having. And we have amazing assistants too. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he deserves a mention. But he told me when I hired him, he's like, I need my top assistant. He's a young guy that I believe in, and that's Scott McKinney.
Scott was at Benton before.
And we got Scott McKinney. Coach Weinmiller helped
Yep.
get Scott to Benton grade school.
Yep.
That was because we didn't have a teaching job at the time. Now Scott is at Marion Junior High, but they're a great team. And we got Mike Krause, and Mike's
Yep.
pedigree, and his brother John at
Sure.
Oakville.
Yeah.
Like, we have built an amazing staff. And then they got this young guy named Trevor Hill. And people don't even know what Trevor Hill's done for our basketball program, starting the Future Wildcats, 9 years ago. And now all those Future Wildcats are coming through and that talent. And it's really paid off, and it's been an amazing thing. But Gus, 550, that's a big number. Actually, I told the kids the other day, 5 more wins, he's second all time. He'll only trail one guy. In 5 more wins, he passes Larry Jenkins for second all time. And he'll only trail the guy that the gym's named after, in Cuss Wilson.
I know Russ, and I'll let you leave after this unless Russ wants to ask some more, because I told you we do 40-hour podcasts here. Russ started this several years ago in Ballin4God, and sometimes I get so sports crazy, and sometimes I got to be brought full circle back. And I know when we talk to the next 2 Ryans, this is stuff we'll talk about, but because this is the Ryan show. Talk a little bit about, it's in my blood to put people on the spot, and I'm not going to, ADs don't like that, but last week, and it probably went more viral than anything we did on the whole podcast, I asked Cale Maurer, I don't know, he's an 18-year-old kid. I said, what's your personal relationship like? Yeah. I mean, this is Ballin4God. I mean, talk a little bit about your...
That was amazing. Cale's such a great kid, man. It's funny, there's a connection there. His dad was a teacher at Mount Vernon right before I came in. Like, they moved to, Alaska. Okay.
Wow.
And I heard about his dad was this amazing social studies teacher. So I felt like I had to live in his shoes a little bit at Mount Vernon as a teacher and live up to his standard.
Wow.
And then I leave and come to Marion, and Kale's dad, Ryan, they moved back to Mount Vernon. Like, just kind of odd, but I watched that. Kale's a great young man and obviously a very good basketball player, and that was amazing testimony that he gave. But, I was raised in the church, guys. I mean, my grandmother, I grew up Catholic, went to St. Andrews and Christopher. We did not miss. I mean, it was every Sunday and a lot of Wednesday nights and a lot of Saturday afternoons in the confession box. So I did not enjoy that part, but I was an altar boy from probably 7th or 8th grade for an amazing priest. Father Barr, never forget him, he was just a super guy. But I really enjoyed my time serving the church over there and really taking my faith to the next level. And guys, we're not going to get into it, but when you've been through fires in your life, what do you lean on? Sure. You lean on your faith. And I can't tell you how many times, including recently, how much praying I have done. Me and my family, I've got a daughter, she's 10 years old, her name's Lauren, and a wife named Kirsten. And, we end our day, this is the most important thing to us, we end our day every single night praying as a family, and that's super important to us. And we talked about that importance last night at the dinner table. That's what we do, and we pray for a lot of people. We don't just pray for ourselves, we pray for our friends, we pray for our families. And you better believe I pray for those Wildcat victories and those teams as well, too, So faith plays a role in my life every single day. And I'm not scared to share that. And Russ, you've probably seen me. When Wildcat football and we get that victory, and at the end, what we do, we break it down and we pray. Yeah. And I'm right there with those guys, and my family is too. And I'm confident and believe that is super important in helping any individual in life, because, man, you guys know life's tough. Yeah. It's going to knock you down and it's going to try you. And I just always feel like that is the one thing that every single time you do it, you feel better, and you feel better about the outcome and your future. And that's just having that relationship with God, man. And again, I owe that to my grandma, Genevieve Goodisky. She went by Jerry. She raised me in that church.
All right. This is it. But Russ, I can't stop because this is too good, Ryan. I'm just going to tell you, from a family that's involved with this stuff, my dad's dad was a preacher. My dad's in politics. If it doesn't work out at Marion, you either need to be a pastor, a priest, or a politician, brother.
I appreciate that. Your dad is a wonderful man. Huge supporter of me.
Yeah. He gives you a few awards.
Oh,
you might get a few awards.
You know, and he is such a character and a blessing to the region, man. And I appreciate everything that you guys have done. I mean, this podcast is phenomenal. I've watched every episode. I've watched some even from the deer stand on that vacation I mentioned. But, you know, Russ, I'm a believer, bud. That's why I did this.
Yeah.
You know, I did this because I see something in you, and I think you do it the right way, and just stay humble and hungry and keep working hard, and it's going to happen for you, bud. You're on your way.
We definitely appreciate you coming on because I love going down to Marion, covering athletics. Obviously, football is awesome. I mean, that's what I played in high school, but basketball and girls basketball is good right now. You got Eric Griffin there, and it's fun to be around a good culture and a good program that's obviously being fed into by a good guy. You know what I mean? So we are truly blessed to have you on.
I really appreciate that, man. And I'm telling you, you know, part of that was too with the faith and in my career as being a guy around Daryl Wimberly. You guys know Wimbo?
Debo, right? Or Wimbo.
I was
Wimbo, sorry.
So
I said
thankful.
Debo.
So thankful to spend my first 5 or 6 years with a guy like Daryl who is not scared, you know, to express how he feels about God and his faith, and just be an unbelievable human being in a school building to anybody and everybody in any situation. And I learned so much from that man. We'll end with this. My favorite Wimbo story is this. I've never met a disciplinary guy like Wimbo who has to hand out out-of-school suspensions. And at the end of that conversation with that kid is thanking him and hugging him and saying, wow, I appreciate you so much, Mr. Wimberly. You know, that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, he might have been 6'5", 280 too. That didn't hurt.
No, it's been great. I appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for having me on.
Now we're on to our second guest of the day, and it's a lot of people might not know what this position is. Well, they know what the position is, but they don't know this isn't a highlighted position in the newspaper, unless something goes wrong.
Yeah.
But we got Ryan Algrim on here, SIU long snapper. Ryan, you want to just tell us a little bit about you, where you're from?
Yeah, so I'm from a little town in northern Illinois called Algrim. Went to Kaylin High School. It's about 1,200 kids. Out of high school, I went to the University of Minnesota for 2 years. Played there. I was a backup for 2 years. I transferred here last January, and it's my first year starting here, and it's been a great first year so far. So.
I've got to ask you. I mean, I've just got to ask Ryan. You're the second Ryan. There's another Ryan after you. You went to Minnesota for long snapping?
Yep.
And then you came to Southern just for long snapping?
Yes, sir.
So they're literally, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck because I'm football crazy. They're looking for guys just to long snap.
Yeah.
And talk about the importance. Talk about how many things can happen because of the importance of a good or bad long snap.
Yeah, I mean, a lot can happen. You get one play to go out there and do your job. You don't, like offense, defense, they get a whole series to go mess up and make mistakes and go back and line up again. We get one play to go do our job, so we got to be on the money every time. Yeah, I mean, you can miss field goals for it. You can have punts blocked. You know, anything can really happen. You can help win a game and lose a game. Against South Dakota, we had to kick a game tying field goal just to force it to overtime. I mean, we lost at the end of that, but if we don't make that field goal, we don't even go to overtime and have that chance. So a lot can happen coming from my position and really all special teams.
You know, just a lot can happen, but what kind of all goes into it? Because I'm sure there's a lot of training.
Yeah, so the training is like the craziest part that not a lot of people see, really nobody sees. But so like every day or 5 days out of the week, I'll be training long snapping, doing drill work, not even just like doing snaps the whole time, but doing little drill work here and there with bands, little medicine balls, stuff my snapping coach has given me over the years, and just kind of help build my craft and keep perfecting it every day.
Okay, so when you're at Kaneland High School, is Kaneland 4A?
5A.
5A, okay. Yep. You're up at Kaneland. At what point did you think, hey, I want to be a college football player and I want to be a long snapper?
Yeah, so this is the craziest part of the whole story. So when I was a freshman, I was injured. I had a knee injury from baseball that past summer. I had surgery, so I was out for the year. So I was just kind of going to practice as a little freshman, just watching, kind of taking it all in, trying to learn.
Freshman in high school?
Freshman in high school, yeah. Trying to learn as much as I can from the older guys and just kind of watch and grow. And I see a guy long snapping. And I did it for our youth team growing up through middle school, whatever. And I see like the senior long snapper out there doing punt and whatever. And then that off season, that winter, he committed to go to Western Michigan. And I was like, well, if he can do it and go play Division I football, like, why can't I? If I put the work in, because I saw what he did and I knew how to get there. And funny enough, now he's actually Illinois State's long snapper, who we just played a couple weeks ago, and they just beat North Dakota State on Saturday.
That was a huge win for them in
Huge
the
win for
playoffs.
them, yeah. So small world how it works out, but
Did you do anything at Kalen besides long snap?
yeah. So my senior year, I was a starting left guard and outside linebacker, so I played both ways there, and then I was on punt, obviously snapping, but I was on kick return and a couple other units here and there.
So when did you get off the field is the question.
Not a lot.
So, going to Minnesota, what kind of drew you to Minnesota, and then kind of speaking to what kind of got you to SIU?
Yeah, so going to Minnesota, it was really doing all the camps and things. That's the biggest thing with being a specialist, kicking your punter or a snapper, is like the camps you do. There's a lot of like the big ranking camps out there. That's how you get the most exposure, and that's how I found Minnesota, was through one of those camps. The special teams coordinator there really liked me, so he was actually my only offer out of high school was to Minnesota. So I committed on to that before my senior year. Went up there, sat behind a fifth-year senior my freshman year, learned a lot from him. And then after the season, our special teams coach he left. So a new coach came in and was trying to, like, that first spring ball. This was still my freshman year, my freshman year spring ball, trying to learn him, trying to get used to a new coach already and kind of feel that out. And then bringing another kid in to play on scholarship over me. So then that last year was just kind of like trying to reevaluate kind of what I wanted and knowing what I want to do after football, not only just with football there, but knowing that I do want to be a firefighter afterwards, and that the school I was getting into there wasn't going to help me out necessarily for that. And at the end of the day, really just wanted to play football, and sitting there wasn't the best. So then I ended up going into the portal last winter, and through my snapping coach, she was able to help me kind of find schools and spots that were looking for long snappers, because he's got a lot of connections with special teams coaches all over the place. And he kind of found that Southern's snapper was leaving last year, so they were looking for a new guy, and he helped guide me to come down here. And I came on a visit last winter and committed, and I've loved every day since.
Here's what's crazy for the people, if you're just jumping on the big show here. You are at Minnesota with PJ Fleck,
Yep.
who coached with Jerry Kill at SIU, and then you leave Minnesota and come to Nick Hill at SIU. I mean, isn't that kind of crazy?
Yeah. Small coaching world out there.
Right. I mean, there had to be some
insanely-
connections there, right?
Yeah. My snapping coach, he knows our special teams coach. They've known each other for a couple of years, so that was really the biggest connection. But then when I met Coach Hill and talked to him, different people, Coach Hill and Coach Fleck, different people, but they're both great people.
Awesome.
Yeah, and talk just kind of getting into Coach Hill. Obviously, he was a great football player, area guy from DuQuoin, but just talk about the culture that is at SIU. What do you like about it?
Yeah, it's a real blue-collar type of culture that Coach Hill has over there. It's just, you have to go to work every day and want it more than the other teams out there. He knows that, like, we obviously face NDSU every year. We're in the Valley. It's the most competitive conference in FCS football out there. Like, we have to fight our way every single day to make it work. And he really does a good job and kind of builds our scheme and our plans around the players that we have. He doesn't try to do things that he knows we can't do. And he pushes us really hard to see where we can go.
I just thought about something. You talked about it a minute ago. Canelan played DuQuoin in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, back in the late 90s. Yeah.
And when you guys, would that be on one of the runs when you won the state championship?
Yeah, yep. Yeah.
Wow. I've known Nick a long time. Great family. Obviously, Nick and his brother both were tremendous quarterbacks. Did you know a fun fact about Nick? He was actually recruited to be a basketball player.
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
Went to Western Kentucky.
Yep, he went there for a year, right?
Yes.
And then came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. People think of Nick Hill. You think of this guy that, he was this close to being an NFL starting quarterback. He really tremendous quarterback at SIU. Obviously at DuQuoin he was tremendous. But people just think, he was an SIU quarterback. He was a great. I bring this up because so many kids nowadays, having two boys that play a lot of sports, so many kids just what's the word I want to use here? when they just do one.
Yeah.
Specialize.
Specialize,
Guys
yeah.
will just specialize. And I get it in these huge high schools where there's 5, 6, 7,000 students. But like in Benton, Illinois, we just had Ryan Goodisky on here. Marion, Illinois. Marion's about 1,200, similar to what you had at Canelan.
Yep.
Are you seeing more and more kids do one sport? Do kids play 2 and 3? I mean, your head coach was recruited in 2 sports for college.
Yeah, I think a lot of it depends really on the parents. A lot of the parents pushing their kids to either be that multi-sport athlete or pushing them to specialize in one sport.
Did you play more than one in high school?
I did. My freshman and sophomore year, I played baseball, but then after that, I stopped and just did football year round. But I
knew you were going to be a long snapper.
Yeah, at that point, I was like, I'm just going to long snap. This is what I'm going to do. So I did long snapping year round. So it wasn't like I was taking half the year off doing nothing. I was still working out year round. But growing up, I played basketball in elementary school. I wrestled for a couple of years.
Looks like a wrestler.
So my dad was a wrestler, so
His
shoulders,
shoulders and traps. He looks like a wrestler.
yeah. But yeah, I think being a multi-sport athlete is huge. I think it helps kids a lot more than they know it. It helps. It goes across every sport. Like it carries over from sport to sport, no matter what sport you're playing.
You know, you mentioned earlier about the Missouri Valley just being so deep and you guys finished 7th, and you guys were,
Yeah.
you guys could probably argue you're 7th in the country.
Yeah.
But
You guys on a given night could beat anybody.
yeah, and but just talk about the places you get to see. Obviously, you were at Minnesota. You got to see a bunch of crazy places, being in the Big Ten. But you know, talk about the Valley, going to the Fargo Dome and all that.
Yeah, I mean, the Valley is, I always talk about it with my parents and family. It's the SEC of
Yeah.
FCS. There's no better competition out there than what we have in the Valley. Going up to the Fargo Dome it's a beautiful arena. It's awesome. The environment there is great. They have a lot of fans that come out, and obviously you're facing the best team in FCS football right there. And we get to see, you know, next year we get to play in a couple more of those domes. This year we only got the one, but there's a lot of great stadiums, a lot of great atmospheres across the Valley. We had some great home games this year where we got a lot of fans out, and they were a good supporting crowd for us.
I'm going to switch gears on you a little bit. I love to put people on the spot. Like I said, I know Nick, and I know the awesome job he's doing at SIU, not just as a football coach, but at developing young men. And I know I've seen Russ wear one of the shirts before. I've seen that, like, Russ has a Sluky football hat on, but I started seeing this Jesus is King stuff.
Yeah.
We're on the Ballin4God podcast. If you don't mind, talk a little bit about what that means to you.
Yeah, so Coach Hill and Jacqueline, who's kind of our operations director, they kind of work together to make this Jesus is King, I guess, merch line, you could say, shirts and sweatshirts. And they worked with us to kind of put the verse that's on the back of it. And it was really just a thing that we wanted because we do a weekly Bible group with us, coaches, and Jacqueline runs it for us. And we wanted to get something out there that we could wear as a group to kind of show that we're more than just football players. You know, we're men of God and all of that. So they kind of helped us build this line of merchandise to start wearing just for us at first, and then now we've spread it out and opened it up for everybody else to wear. So,
You know, obviously I've seen that. I keep saying, you know, I can't stop saying it.
He said, you know, 55 times, and I've also leaned into the microphone. I'm leaning into this, and they say you could pick me up 4 houses away, and I lean into it.
But just, you mentioned Jesus is King, the shirts and all that, but just talk about the culture that you guys have there as far as just having that, being able to go to each other, have that group, and maybe even pitch in on what that special teams tight-knit group is.
yeah, so we have a very close-knit team. Guys are every side of the ball, close-knit, great friends with everybody on the team. And the Bible study is a huge help to that and a testament to that, too. Guys come in there, you can talk about whatever is going on in your life, and guys will be there to help you and support you through it. That's really been the biggest way for me that I've kind of gotten to know guys on the team coming in as a transfer halfway through the year is going to the Bible study, getting to meet guys in that setting and kind of build that deeper bond and connection with each other. As for our specialists go, we had 5 of us this past year, and we have a really great knit bond. We had one punter kicker, and then 1 kicker, and then 2 snappers. So it's a really small group. Usually there's a couple more guys, but we bond together really well. And in season, we went out to dinner every Wednesday. We'd go out to dinner and just eat as the 5 of us, just to kind of keep that bond together and keep building that friendship. So I think like coaches do it as well too. They help build up that team bond and kind of trying to get the words.
It's okay.
Help facilitate like
Sure.
us being more than just teammates on the field, but being friends off the field and being, we're brothers off the field.
It's very unique when you talk about special teams. And here's why I say this. So much can come down. I was in sports broadcasting a long time, did play-by-play for Benton Sports and Carterville Sports and different things, and so many. I think of playoff games. I think of regular season games, just at the high school level. Not even, obviously you're at the FCS Division I level for SIU, but there is so much pressure that comes down to, yeah, exactly. I mean, so much comes down to, as I lean into the microphone again, I have no clue why I'm doing it again. Did you ever think about the pressure part of it? I mean, if you snap, how far is your snap normally? Let's say it's a field goal. How far?
8 yards.
So 24 feet.
Yep.
And if you snap it wrong, you could lose a game,
Yep.
not make the playoffs, lose a conference title. I mean, think about how many things can go into a bad snap. And if I'm you, this is the salesman in me, I'm blaming the guy holding the ball. I'm blaming the kicker. I'm never taking the blame for a bad snap, right?
Me and our holder, he's our other snapper. It was our holder this year. So him and I, we're tight together. So if anything goes wrong, we start blaming ourselves before we'll blame each other.
Oh,
We're
you're
no,
good
I
kids,
did this,
man.
I did
What
that.
the gosh,
We'll be like, I
can't
should have
even
given
do
you that. I
anything
did this, but there's a lot of pressure when it comes to those situations where it's like you got to get it off. You got to be clean. You got to be perfect. Like when we went up and played Purdue this year. I mean, it's Purdue.
You guys gave Purdue a heck of a game.
We had a little run going there.
Yeah.
It's a big environment, loud crowd, and it's definitely a lot of pressure. But it's just you got to be able to.
It's Big Ten.
Yeah.
Big 60.
Yeah.
Aren't there 60 schools or something?
Close. Yeah, you got to be able
30.
to just start tuning it out and know that you're there because you can do your job.
Sure. Do you
Just
notice
put
the
that
crowd?
confidence. A little bit, sometimes. The first one, usually I'll be like, okay, it's a decent crowd, and then after that, it's like I've already done it before. Like, okay, what's next? Just keep moving along.
Has anything ever been yelled at you weird? That like honestly, people yell at quarterbacks, people yell at running backs, linebackers, different things. Has anyone ever yelled something and you're the long snapper and you thought, I mean, has anything ever caught you off guard?
Not to me specifically. One of our punters.
We need to have this happen, folks. We need to come
Yeah.
up with something to yell at long snappers.
The Purdue student section, they were yelling at one of our backup punter. They were heckling him. That was
I like
funny
that.
to hear. Yeah. Usually I just try, I'll listen, but I just won't I won't turn in and give into it. I won't egg them on. I'll just listen to it and laugh. Yeah. My family's the worst though. They'll yell at me. They were at Illinois State because it's a close game for me, so I had 20 something family members down there, and then on the sideline they're just yelling at me nonstop. So, but that's fun. But yeah.
You keep bringing up the backup hunter, but do you want to kind of share who the guys are? Obviously I know who they are, but Travis doesn't. Just share who they are and how your relationship is.
Yeah, so this past year we had Paul Gielen. He was our starting punter and place kicker. He's from the Netherlands. He was a senior this year.
Where?
The Netherlands.
Where's that at? Is that near Maple Park?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dr. Young and RZ over here like that one.
Yeah, he's from the Netherlands.
He's a tall kicker too.
He's
tall.
another
He's
country.
6'6", yeah.
It's another, not 6'7", right?
No, 6'6".
Thank you, Jesus.
6'6".
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah, 6'6". This was his second year here at SIU. Before that, he was over at William Jewell College. And he was a foreign exchange student, actually. He went to high school in Michigan. So he's been around the States for a little while. Just an overall great athlete to have at punter. We ran a lot of fakes this year, I'm sure you saw.
He converted a fourth down.
Yeah. We've used him in a lot of ways that you don't usually see a punter get used, but he's also got a really strong leg and can boom a punt and can hit deep field goals. And, I mean, he can boom kickoffs too. So he's just a great athlete to have. And if he wasn't a kicker, he could probably play receiver, corner, whatever you wanted him to. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got. We got Eli. He's our backup punter. Not as much of a freak athlete in height as Paul. Paul's kind of a rarity there, but Eli's got a great leg too. I think he's got a real chance to start this year, so we'll kind of see what happens there as we go through spring ball. Tanner is our backup kicker. He's a redshirt freshman, so a young guy still trying to develop in the college football world. He's got a strong leg, so kind of see how the off season treats him. So yeah.
And then talk about the holder.
Yeah, Jace. So Jace.
Is this your best friend?
Yeah. Jace he's also our backup snapper. His dad's our O-line coach. His dad is
Oh, wow.
Dan
What's his
Clark.
name?
Dan Clark.
Okay.
He's our O-line coach.
It took us 4 hours here, but look, guys. Go back. Leave it on there. Yeah, this is fine. We got it 90. What size TV is this?
90.
We have a 98-inch TV, guys, and we finally figured out how to get sports on it. We've been flipping Channel 3 for 17 hours in here. Nothing against Channel 3. Fantastic. I wanted sports. Okay. Back.
Yeah, so Jace is our offensive line coach's son. So Jace has been here. This is his third year now on the team. This is his first year actually holding. Last year he was injured, came back. In the spring we had some holder issues with other guys trying to hold. So then Jace was like, well, he'd been doing it since he was injured, just kind of being there to catch for the other snapper. So he felt really comfortable with it, and we worked over the off season and into the summer and worked on his ability as a holder and got used to each other kind of as a battery there, and we had a great season.
Also, let's just touch a little bit on spring ball. Going from high school, I mean, you said you worked on football year-round in high school, but I mean, spring ball is a little bit different, especially at the college level.
Yeah.
What's it like going year-round and then spring ball in college?
Yeah, spring ball's fun. The way I think about it, it's like fall camp is fall camp, but spring ball is like fall camp, but you still have to go to school. Fall camp, you don't have to go to school, but spring ball, we're practicing 3 days out of the week. We got meetings and lifts and all that the other days, but you still got class on top of it. So spring ball is a little tougher if you're not used to it. Now that I've been this is my third year going into it. I know what to expect and kind of how to treat things. And now that I'm more of a veteran, even though I don't feel that old, kind of feel ready and prepared for it. And before we get to spring ball in April and March, we're doing winter workouts all the time, 5 days a week, and then we have a little time to do some indie time on the field with our coaches too. So we really don't ever stop.
Yeah.
Okay, Algrim, right? Did I say it right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Ryan. What's your size and weight? What's your height and weight?
6'2", right around 230, 225, 230, right in that frame.
Is that the typical size for a long snapper?
College, I would say yes. If you get up to the pros, they're a little heavier, right?
What's the size of a pro? Like the
Bears long snapper.
Love the Bears long
I
snapper.
know him.
You really?
Yeah. His mom and my mom worked together.
What's the Bears long
both
snapper's
nurses.
name?
Scott Daly.
I'm going to be there Sunday.
He went to Notre Dame.
Okay, I'm going to be there Sunday because my oldest son wants to watch Shadur. It's for Christmas. Boys, we're going. Bears, Browns. What's the guy's name again?
Scott Daly.
I'm going to yell at Scott Daly and say, Scott Daly, I know. Ryan Algrim.
Yeah. He's 6'2", 240, so it's like...
He's got 10 pounds on you.
Yeah.
Would you like to be a professional long snapper?
Yeah.
Is that your goal?
That's my goal. Yep.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
You did, all right.
Yeah. So it's like this off season is kind of one of the things I'm going to got to start thinking about. Is like, okay, I need to start putting on a little weight, a little size to be that pro-sized long snapper.
So you will get us tickets, I'm sure, when you're in the pros.
Yes. Yep. Definitely.
Thank you.
So obviously I don't know anything because I'm not going to pursue the NFL because I obviously not good enough.
I thought maybe it's still on the docket.
But what kind of goes into it too? Like I guess get recruited in a way.
What are you watching?
Yeah.
Please God, this isn't on the broadcast, is it? No. Okay, thank you, Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of it is just kind of the scheme you run in college. Obviously in the pros, it's all snap and block. A lot of what we get in college is snap and release. So you got to be able to do that snap and block scheme and style. So being able to train that. Luckily, my snapping coach, he's trained a lot of college guys through his time. He was a snapper when he played, and he's trained a couple guys that have gotten shots to go pro. So he knows kind of how to train us and get us in that right kind of form and setup to go play pro.
Last question, Russ. He's your buddy. Talk about how you guys met each other.
Well, obviously I met with him through football, but just getting to go. I did as much as I could because it was just with school it was tough, and you guys practiced in the mornings. That's when my classes were.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to go.
I never went to class at SIU.
I didn't get to go to too many practices, but You know, I got to meet him through Strong Dogs, Tom Weber.
The heck is that? What? Say it again.
Strong Dogs.
Okay, Strong Dogs. I got it.
It's something new that they kind of started. I got to meet him through that because I got to video for Tom Weber throughout the football season.
Sure, we'll have Tom on soon.
And so I got to go travel with the.
I haven't asked him, but we're just going to say that on here.
I'm sure Tom wouldn't mind getting on.
We'll bring him on.
Tom will love it.
Yeah, and so I got to be around him because of that. But just talk about the media and Tom Weber and just like all those media guys at SIU.
Yeah, there's a lot. They do a great job. Tom, he used to be the football kind of person at SIU Athletics for doing all the media stuff. He retired, and now he does Strong Dogs by himself. It's something that he
Retired but didn't really.
Yeah, yeah. It's something he wanted to pick up and do just to support football, and everything he does is about football every day of the week. He loves our program, he loves our coaching staff, loves us as players. He does a great job kind of helping us connect too with past players and alumni and all that, and he's a great resource for us to have. And our media team, they do a great job of really not just like focusing, like it's easy to focus on a DJ Williams, stud of an athlete, absolute great person. It's easy to focus on him, but they do a great job of making sure everybody gets included and everybody gets their time in the light.
Yeah, let's just touch on one more thing, the most important thing here. Just talk about your relationship with God, like kind of where it all started, where it's at now. And you obviously mentioned SIU football, but I mean, how everything helps with that too.
Yeah, so growing up, I wasn't in a family that went to church. My dad's a firefighter, my mom's a nurse, so they were working around the clock 24/7. And if they're home on the weekends, it was family time because we never get to see them. So my relationship with God really started when I went off to college in Minnesota. Just kind of a new atmosphere, new experience, and just kind of found something that I can rely on to help me get through that first tough year of being in college, and found teammates that really helped me through that as well. And we started going to a church on Thursday nights for college kids, and then doing Bible study with them throughout the week as well. And then as I came here, found that same thing, same group, and just helps build that strong bond. And when times get tough, you know who you can rely on.
I'm just going to say this as the old man in the room, because I'm older than anybody else in here, and having two sons. I read a lot, and for the first time in a long time in our country, men are going to church more than they have in decades, and that's an inspiration to me. Yeah. Because it wasn't always that way. You guys might not know. You guys might not know this, but it was women going a lot more than men in this country for a long time, and that's kind of evolving and changing. Where men, and I won't get political on you guys, but I think this country is going in the right direction if men as leaders are involved in churches and going to Bible studies and involved in different things. Because the lack of men, the next guest on the show, Ryan Zeigler, works at the Department of Corrections, and I'm a stat freak. That's one of the reasons I love sports. The lack of fathers in this country are one of the, he could tell you if he was on here, if you look at the statistics, guys, I'm a stat guy. If you look at people in the Department of Corrections, not just in Illinois, in 50 states, there is a direct correlation between who was raised and who was not raised. I'm just saying. So seeing young men like Russ, like yourself, Ryan, that's an inspiration to me as a dad to see young men involved with God. That's huge.
Yeah. I think the best part is that when we do our team Bible study, most of our coaches are in there. Probably, I think only 2 or 3 don't get in there. But then it's the coaches plus players, and we keep growing week after week after week.
Is Coach Hill involved in it?
Yeah, he comes in there. You know Coach Hill, he loves
Yeah. My dad said, my dad had him in an event a few months ago, and he said, I'm telling you, I think he said in front of a bunch of people too, you should be an evangelist. I mean, honestly, he felt like he was at a revival thing or something with Coach Hill.
Yeah.
He's a great talker.
Great speaker.
He's a great speaker.
Yeah. He loves to get into that stuff.
He does.
He's so knowledgeable about it, and I love listening to him talk about the Bible and God. But this past year we did a team book. It was a Bible book. It was called In a Pit with a Lion on a Snowy Day. It was about Benaiah and his story and going into that pit with the lion and fighting the lion and winning.
Wow.
He chased this lion into the snowy pit. Great. I don't think I could do it, but Benaiah did it, and he won. So good for him. And we read this book as a team, and we met weekly. In season, we'd meet at the hotel Friday night before a game and talk about the book, and we'd sit there for a half hour, 45 minutes, however long we needed to go over the chapter each week. And it's really good to see that coming into sports, because it used to be kind of nobody wanted to talk about religion in sports.
You couldn't. Yeah, it was like a taboo thing.
Yeah, and now it's great to see it coming back out, and people are not afraid to talk about their religion and their faith in sports, and I just love to see it.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, we love to see guys like you that put God first, and then just obviously being successful in sports. But it's just, we appreciate you coming on, because there's just, to have guys like you. We had a high schooler on last week that shared his faith, and just had a lot of guys come on and do that. It's just awesome to see.
It was the biggest clip of the show last week, was him talking about his testimony.
Yeah.
A senior in high school, and I thought it was really cool. Ryan Goodisky, the athletic director of Marion, was on before you, and Ryan was talking about Ryan Maurer, all these Ryans, Cale Maurer's father, about, I don't want to get emotional. It's good. It's really good.
Yeah. Well,
I hate Michigan, though, and they're playing on TV right now. Seriously, I hate Michigan basketball. Sorry.
well,
Segue to that.
appreciate you coming on, and safe travels back, obviously, and good luck on next football season too.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome back to our final guest of the show, and it's Ryan Zeigler. Not some people might know him, some people might not. Obviously, Marion guys know him, but Ryan, you want to just introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Ryan Zeigler. I've done sports photography just for a short period of time, since 2023, and I shoot for John Holman with the Southern, and I've contributed some photos to Darren Kennard with River Radio and everything, and I'm really happy that they allow me to do that, and they think it's good enough to post out there. But also some of the local school districts, being Marion's one of them, and Carterville, sometimes they'll repost some of my stuff. Murfreesboro, just anywhere I've shot. So the school districts have been really cool, or sometimes when they advertise by a next game, they'll use the photo or something in there. So yeah, I've done that for a short period of time, and I really enjoy doing it.
Ryan, how have you gotten so big? I don't mean muscle-wise. Because you do look like you've been hitting the weights.
Oh, well, no. I
don't know. But no.
This is God-given.
God-given. all kidding aside, I thought you've been doing it for years.
No.
I've seen a ton of your photography.
Yeah.
And that's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What got you in it? Because I can tell by a little silver in your hair, you're not, you and I are a little older than Doc Young and Russ.
Yeah, I'm a little older.
What made you in your 40s? Can I say that?
I'm in my almost getting close to 50.
What made you want to go into photography? As I know you have a great job at DOC.
Yes. Well, actually, DOC kind of led into that, just because I had a friend that I hired in with. We hired in at the same time. His name's Frank Evaldi. He was a really good football player in the late 90s with Murfreesboro Red Devils.
He was a
Lineman.
huge.
Yeah.
Frank Evaldi was huge. He played with Dietrich Rogers and those guys.
Yes. He's
Wow,
a
I had
monster.
no clue. I didn't know. What you were saying to me is new. I didn't know we were going to talk about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a monster.
The guy's humongous.
Yeah.
Is he still huge?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But me and him hired in at DOC, Menard Correctional Center, at the same time. So we rode to work together and everything. And I'd kind of gotten into photography, but mainly just wildlife and landscape stuff, mainly with my iPhone. And then I guess that made my wife, Mary, think that I wanted to be a photographer. So she goes out and buys me this camera. So I was posting all that stuff on Facebook. His wife, Jamie, was following me and stuff like that. And I guess on the way into work, he had a boy, Wyatt, that was a junior in 2023, playing for the Red Devils. He was a lineman too. And he goes, "Hey, have you ever thought about taking any pictures at Wyatt's games?" And I just kind of looked at him like, no. And at first I was like, oh, that sounds kind of mean. I better follow that up with something, because he's kind of looking at me.
And he's big.
Yeah, and I'm driving down the road, and I go, well, maybe he ain't going to hit me because I'm driving and that would affect him, but maybe because he's just kind of looking over at me. And I go, well, I think there's a degree of difficulty behind sports photography, and I always kind of worry about, I don't want to go there and let somebody down.
Sure.
I don't want to let them down. You got a lot of people depending on you.
That's how I am at buffets. I don't want to let people down.
Yeah, I don't want to let them down. So I go, yeah, I don't know. We kind of talked about it, and we went on talking about something else. But in the background, I'm kind of intrigued. So I went and started looking up real good photographers on YouTube or something. I go, what settings do I use? Can my camera even do it? Do I got a good enough lens to do it like that? So I finally looked it up, and at that time when I was working at the prison at that time, I was off on Sunday, Monday. It doesn't accommodate football around here very well. So I started, I was off a week just by coincidence. It was the opening round of the high school playoffs. And I told my wife, that I go, you want to go to a high school football game? And she goes, sure. Like that, she's went to some events with me when I've shot and everything when we've been able to. And I go, where are we going to go? And I go, well, I narrowed it down. I'm going to go up. DeCoin was playing home against Monticello. She goes, why do you want to go there? Don't you know more people? Don't you work with people at Murfreesboro? And I go, I don't want to go over there and embarrass myself like that and sit there and let somebody down. I want to just go over there just to see if I can do it. So I sat in the front row, and I took pictures during that game, went back home, and I'm like, man, these don't look too bad. Put them on Facebook, and then what did I do after that? Oh, I sent a couple photos to Frank. Sent them over there to him. I go, is this the kind of stuff you're kind of looking for? He goes, oh, yeah, that looks great. Doesn't say nothing else. I'm like, oh, must not be that great. Like that. So I thought that was it. I go, that was fun while it was
One and done.
Yeah, that's it. That was fun while it lasted. So I ended up, let's see, we went to work that week. They had an away game against Charleston, I believe, that year. They won. Then they're going to play Harrisburg in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
All of a sudden, he's sitting there again on the way into work, and he goes, you think you're confident enough to shoot some games at that Murfreesboro football game? Sure. Like that, sure.
Yeah, that game was at Harrisburg.
It was at Harrisburg.
I was at that game.
Yeah.
I was at the game.
It was a phenomenal game.
Great game.
Phenomenal. Great weather day, good day to go be out there shooting photos. And so he makes a few phone calls while we're sitting there in the truck. And he goes, he finally gets off the phone, and just before we get down there, he goes, I can get you right on the sideline. I'm like, what? I was shooting in the stands. And he goes,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
He goes, I can get you right on the sideline. He goes, you just go take pictures whatever you want. You just say you're there to take pictures from Murfreesboro High School. Do whatever you want. I'm like, wow. So I went there. I hadn't stood on a high school sideline since I was at Johnson City in the late 90s and everything. And I was like, man, this is really cool. Like it kind of brought you back some memories and stuff of that. Was really fun. Murphy ends up winning that game on that last minute Hail Mary in the corner of the end zone. I went down to him, he's standing on the sideline. I go, man, this is great. This was awesome. What a great experience. And I go, I want to do this again. He goes, well, the next game's at Murfreesboro. And I go, oh, great. Who we playing? Rochester. And I'm like, ugh. And I knew who Rochester was. Derek Leonard.
Sure.
You know, you got Ken Leonard.
Yeah.
You know,
They're winners.
yeah, it built a pretty good
A lot of
program.
titles between daddy and son.
Dad's all-time
All time.
winningest coach in Illinois. So I was like, well, I went over there and took pictures, and unfortunately, Murphy's season came to an end. And I'm pretty certain 2023, Rochester goes on to win state that year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was kind of cool in a way that you got to see a team like that, although I would have liked to see our local team have success, you know, in that game, even though it was great to even got to the semifinals.
So where'd it go from there, man? I mean, that's only 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, where it went, once that was over, and I remember standing there after the end of that game, looking around and go, man, I kind of discovered something here, and it's over with, just like that. You know, I don't know what else to do. What else do I do from here? Like that, and I go home and talk to Mary about it, and I go, you know what? Heron's supposed to have a good basketball team this year. I go, I'm gonna go to a Heron basketball game and see how that goes. Well, it's Kyrese Lukens, you know, junior year, Jonathan Harrison. You know, here I go. I name off names. I'm going to forget some people. But great group of kids, and we shot a lot of their basketball games. And then you pick up a lot of other teams, whoever they're playing, you know, you're getting a combination of not only Heron, but whoever they're playing. And you're taking all different shots. And I just try to shoot everything. I try to include every kid, the coach, somebody on the bench if they're getting excited, supporting their teammates, because I think that's important too. It ain't just focusing on one individual. I'll shoot the entire thing. If there's a fan dressed up like with tiger paint on them, or you know, a maroon face over at Benton Rangers or something like that, I'll shoot them. We've included them in the Southern before. You know, that's something that John Homan taught me to go out and look for on the expansion of my photography thing, right?
Dr. Young dressed up as an executive producer.
Yeah, he would have made it into one of my frames if he was like that. So I was like, oh yeah, that's unique.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Suit and tie.
Suit and tie.
So we ended up shooting basketball. It ended with Benton playing two topless at a super sectional.
Oh yeah.
Although at that point in time, I didn't have no IHSA pass. I didn't have no media credentials. I was basically relying on schools or athletic directors allowing me to go do it. Like a Lynn Navarra over at Murphy.
He's a legend. Lynn is a legend.
All time.
Yeah. I mean, he's
like
one of the best ADs ever.
Like a Goodisky over at Marion, or Brett Dial over at Carterville, or somebody that don't mind you going over there, even though didn't have credentials, so you kind of had to pick and choose.
They get it. Those ADs you just talked about get it. Goodisky and I, we were all just talking about this about an hour ago. You heard us talking. The brand. I mean, he knows to push Marion. You've got to think that way. Lynn Navarra knew 20, 30 years ago. I mean, what he did with the River to River Conference has been amazing. I mean, I'm very, very impressed with those guys, what they've been able to do, not just for Murphy, Marion, I think you might have named a couple other guys too, but Carterville, what Brett Dial's doing there.
Yes.
That it helps all of Southern Illinois. Mm-hmm. When you go shoot Carterville games or Marion games or Murfreesboro games, a kid from Sparta, a kid from Anna, a kid from Benton, a kid from DuQuoin, they all get they're part of that,
Oh, absolutely. But that's kind of how that first season went. And oddly enough, once that ended with Benton and at the Super Sectional, if I would have been more involved with the media or had an IHSA pass, I would have went up there and shot him in the state tournament. But unfortunately, that's where it kind of came to an end for me. And I didn't shoot baseball. I didn't shoot softball that year. I went back to shooting my wildlife pictures and, a landscape or whatever in the world I was doing until football 2024 showed back up, and they asked me to go back to Murfreesboro. Still yet not shooting for the media. Just asked me to go back to Murfreesboro, and they had a thing like Meet the Teams, where they have their fall sports and stuff out there. And it was so amazing to me because when I was in high school, we didn't have a lot of media or anything like classes or anything. They take me inside Murfreesboro High School. They got a green screen.
Wow.
They got all these cameras and everything. And I was like, man, I would have really loved that back in the day. I would have really loved that. What opportunities these kids have. And, you got the kids dressed in their football uniform, and you put them in front of a green screen, and you can put whatever background. Sure. It's a little bit easier to do, versus what you do with an actual real photo, even though it's possible. But I had another opportunity introduced to me through Murfreesboro at that time, and I went on to shoot every single football game that they did that year, all the way until they lost to Breeze Central in the second round and everything. But a good thing happens. Another tip in the hat to Murfreesboro, I always like to get over there early, and it was one of the earlier home games, and I'm over there on the sideline, and I always like to shoot pregame. I'm a really big bug about making sure the camera that's got the settings, and if a kid's out there throwing a ball around, I just shoot it and everything, and make sure everything's going right. What I want to do that night. And this guy comes up to me. He's come walking down the sideline. The game ain't started or anything. He comes up to me and he extends his hand out. And he goes, "Hi, I'm John Holman. I'm with the Southern," like that. And I go, "Yeah, I know who you are." Like that, been around a long time and everything. And he goes, "You shooting this game here tonight?" And I go, "Yep." Like that. And he goes, "Do you mind if I use any of your photos for my story? I'm doing a story on this game tonight." Like that. And I go, "Sure." So we exchanged phone numbers. He gave me his email. And that's where that relationship started at. Just because, maybe this is something, if any young person watches this, always kind of show up early. If you show up early, and don't run late or anything, you never know who you might walk into. And everything, and it builds that relationship.
That's awesome. The guys at Weeks know I've never been early once. So, guys, please don't do what Travis does. Do what Ryan Zeigler does. But honestly, it's cool. You get there early. And if you wouldn't, you talked to me about this before you came on, about how God puts you in different places.
Oh, yeah.
If you hadn't been there early, maybe John Holman never talks to you. Look at the doors. It's open since.
Oh, yeah. Able to help not only just me, but I make sure it extends out to other people too. And I'm going to touch upon that down the road here shortly. But yeah, throughout the rest of the football season, we ended up having a pretty good relationship. I'd send him photos, whatever we could just talk about sports or something, in the area. Basketball season comes back around, it keeps going. At the end of basketball season, I guess, and I like that he does this, and I don't know if this is why he did this. It takes him almost to the end of basketball season to give me an IHSA pass like that. And he's probably like, well, is this guy going to stick with it? Is this going to be a good fit? Or are these photos, was these just a flash in the pan and maybe he can't work with a deadline or something? Because, boy, you're learning a lot of stuff when you're doing stuff with the media, working with a deadline and everything. You're like, oh, this is how they do it. And, oh, boy, it does run up to this last 30 minutes or something. It does. It's amazing. And I appreciate seeing that side of it now and being able to work with it. At first, it was like, oh my goodness, what have I gotten myself into here? And now I'm just so used to it. Or he don't really have to even tell me. Like all I have to know goes, when's that deadline? Okay, because then I already have an idea when I need to send him stuff. So I'm kind of earmarking photos. If I see something through the viewfinder, oh, that's going to be important, I'll save it, which helps with the more modernized equipment that I have now versus the dinosaur that I was shooting with before.
Your iPhone 12.
Well, I had a Canon Rebel, and it.
Didn't you say you started though with an iPhone and stuff?
Not with sports.
Okay.
I don't know if
with frogs.
Yeah.
You started with the frogs.
If we were in the kitchen, if I was shooting stuff with my iPhone, that'd be like me shooting my reflection.
Yeah, no, I get it, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just the kind of technology it is. I mean, you get an iPhone can't match, stuff like that.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, he goes, so we built a pretty good relationship, but, I'd also send stuff into River Radio, and sometimes at first I didn't know that was Darren that I was sending, because I'm just sending it to River Radio, but eventually I figured out that was who that was. That, I thought it might have been another person receiving the photos. I know that he was behind that brand, but I didn't know he might be seeing that.
Sure.
Like that. So, and just for somebody like that to sit there and think that my photos were worth, being posted under their brand.
Worthy enough to be on there.
Yeah, I thought, wow, man, these people, and then all of a sudden they start talking to you like you're one of them or something
they
like that.
Me, they really like me.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. This is someone I grew up watching.
Sure.
And it was fantastic and everything. So we've developed a lot of good relationships. I've ran into a lot of good photographers that have always been really helpful to me. Tony Kendrick.
Yes.
Fantastic person. And he's always been really helpful.
Have you met the GOAT yet?
I thought Tony Kendrick was the GOAT.
Caesar Morani is the GOAT.
Oh.
Caesar Morani. You asked John Homan who that is.
I think maybe he's talked about him before.
For generations.
Yeah, I know.
In this area, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
His wife was one of my junior high teachers. Was a great lady. She's passed on, Mrs. Morani. But
okay.
Phyllis. But Caesar Morani was unbelievable.
Caesar's on screen.
That's Little Caesars. That's Little Caesars, but
they
yes.
Big Caesars.
Yes. Yeah.
Hot and ready.
But yeah.
It's amazing to me how quick all this has happened for you.
Oh.
I mean, you're shooting basically the three of us hanging out 2 years ago to now.
Yeah.
You're in the Southern and on River Radio.
Yeah,
all the time, right?
It's all by accident, really. If Frank doesn't ask me, can you go and shoot one of Wyatt's football games, and then if we don't come back that following year and run into John Homan, and John's been really fantastic to me, and we have really good conversations, and he's really good about giving me. Sometimes he'll give me constructive criticism and everything, but you don't grow as a person without it.
Sure.
No doubt.
Some people, it doesn't appeal to them at all, and they get really upset and everything, but hey,
you're never going to grow if you don't.
I would never be sitting here across from you, or I wouldn't have had the successes at my job or anywhere if God doesn't put, oh, here comes John Holman, You know, goes, I think you need to pick me up. Here's this guy in your life. Oh, you're Darren Kennard. He's a good guy to send this photo to. He's a very inspiring and motivating individual. So I'm going to bring him in your life, and you should go over there and shoot at Marion. You know, Kerry Martin's over there on the sidelines. All of a sudden, we're communicating, even though I already knew who Kerry Martin was.
Sure.
But just being able to interact with him when I see him at these games, he's just an inspiring individual. And his podcast is very inspiring. So I really enjoy it. So
I completely agree. Whenever I talk to Darren, just getting to meet Darren. I mean, we had him on here. Was it last week? I guess.
He was on last week. Yeah.
And but just getting him be my mentor and meeting him through Facebook, which I always dreamed of meeting a guy like him, let alone working with him. I always dreamed of him because I was watching him Sports Extra on Channel 3 News and all that. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, I'm messaging him and we're talking sports. And then, you know, I never dreamed that I'd be to the point where I'm taking video pictures, all that, and then talking to all these guys. And then I tell Darren always, be my biggest critique. I mean, obviously, your biggest critique of yourself. But I always tell him, don't dig into me and really be a jerk. But I tell him, just let me know what I need to work on. Because
I understand that.
If he didn't tell me what to work on, I mean, I don't even know if we'd be doing the podcast, let alone me doing anything that I do now.
Yeah, how could you ever grow if nobody told you anything? If everybody was always nice to you, I mean, how can you ever improve?
Yeah.
You know, everything we build. Some of our greatest achievements are based on failure.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this now, RZ. If people want to see your work, where do they go? Because remember, we're shameless promoters here. So plug your brand, plug what you do. Seriously, how do people find Ryan Zeigler's work?
Instagram, Field Focus. Facebook, Field Focus. And we're on X, but not as many followers on X. But I still go under my old name before Field Focus, Ziggy Photo, because everybody called me, my nickname Ziggy because of Ziegler.
Okay, Ziggy. We're going to call him Ziggy from now on. Yeah, Ziggy.
There's
Dr.
probably people
Young,
just
Ziggy.
They're just now figuring out that my name's Ryan, some of these people.
I thought it was Ziggy.
Yeah, that's what they think. They call me that at work, you know, and everything. But it's always been like that and everything. But yeah, Field Focus, it was just something I think that
You come up with that on your own?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you know, you're shooting the field or there's a field of focus that you lock in on. I thought it went really good with photography and everything. So, and I actually asked my wife if she actually liked it. And I think for once she didn't critique me. Goes, oh yeah, that's really good. You know, and usually she's like, no, don't you be doing that. You're embarrassing me out here, you know.
What's your favorite part of shooting sports?
I like supporting the community and the young athletes in my area. There's nothing,
That's awesome.
You know, I told some of the Murfreesboro kids after that 2024 season, they actually signed a football and gave it to me. And I told them that is the greatest gift they could ever give me. It goes, you don't have to give me a dime. This is worth more than any dime you could ever give me was this. I got it up on my shelf in my man cave and everything. And I hear like Ryan talk about his office, you know, how he's got photos of stuff. I goes, oh, okay, that ain't too weird that I have stuff like that and everything. There are little mementos and stuff that people have. I mean, Coach Rude, when you went into his office when he was a principal at the middle school, man, I just sometimes, even if you'd almost want to sit there and find a way to get in trouble before he got in there, just to sit there and look at all his look at his memorabilia and everything. Yeah. And one time I was sitting there, I was in trouble, and they sent me down there and everything. Before he got in there, I go, he ain't in here yet. So I'm sitting here looking at all the stuff he has on the wall, and then he comes down there. I'm like, yep, he's going to tell me something I need to hear. Like that, and I may not want to hear it right now, but sitting here now, I really appreciated him doing it. You know, he was a great coach. I liked being on his team there at Johnson City, and man, Johnson City football.
How about the run, Ryan? How about the run Johnson City's been on?
Oh,
I mean, it's been unbelievable. I mean,
yeah.
In the future, I mean, Russ knows I know these guys really well, but like, my oldest son is really, really good friends with Evan Sanders and Nolan Causey.
Yeah,
good buddy's been in my house several times.
Yeah,
and, I mean. The run that those two guys have been a part of, plus guys before them and now after them, it's been unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what I grew up doing. I had an older sister, and She graduated in 92, but I was probably more like maybe I was like an annoying little brother, but they'd take us to the football games. That's where everybody went. Where the football field is now used to be the old practice field, and we go there, throw the football around, or eventually go down and watch the game. Darren mentioned a game. As a young person, I was at that game when Billy Kendrick throws the last second pass to Keith Stefan in the corner end zone against Sesser. I'm glad my sister took me there. We'd walk around the old track, and you got to see a Billy Kendrick. He ended up being a senior when I was a freshman. Mike Overby, the list can go on. Jeremy Bandy, like that. Because you've seen all these players that I kind of looked up to, and I was glad I was not an outstanding athlete like they were. I just played special teams and stuff like that, but I was never on their level, but it was good to be a part of it. We still shared great friendships, and I still learned a lot from Coach Rude to this day. It's a bummer I wasn't one of his all-state or all-South or all-conference players, but I still learned a lot from that man. He really helped me out a lot. He always made you feel like you were included, and he did eventually find a spot for me to play on his team, even if it was special teams. And it was very inspiring, and I enjoyed it. And he had good coaches around him, Mike Mooningham, Doug Dobbins, Todd Page, Mike Stefan. He had there was a good community at Johnson City. And it's still, as you see, it's still very alive and well. Some of those kids, I remember their parents when they were either my sister's age or some of them were my age that have went through there, that it's fun seeing those kids have success.
Well, Marcus and Matt Lightson.
Yeah, Marcus Lightson, yes. His dad used to ride my bus and everything, and I actually printed off a canvas print when Marcus jumped up in the air.
That's a great
picture. And we caught that photo, and I gave it to I was able to give it to his dad and everything, and we kind of talked there for a minute, and I remember when he just lived down the road from me, and he rode the bus, and I was probably the annoying little kid that looked up to the football players or something like that. But no, he's still a great man and everything. And his boy is a fantastic athlete and a good person too.
Kind of shifting gears, obviously we got to give a little recognition to your other job, because people don't. A lot of people might think, oh yeah, this guy's just a photographer.
Yeah.
And with how much time you're always posting stuff, with the wee hours of the night.
Oh well, how many times have we been on the phone and it's been 2 or 3 in the morning?
Yeah.
I told Russ, don't do that to me. My Lord, man. I put that thing on Do Not Disturb. He texts me 2 or 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Some people have a wife and kids. Russ.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Well, when he's messaging me a lot of times.
You're up at 2 or 3 in the morning?
Well, I get off at 11 o'clock at night. And I got, it's a long way between Chester and Heron.
Sure.
And it's a long way. And then when you work a job like that.
Oh, you got to wind down. I get it.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times I goes, well, how do I wind down? What's therapeutic to me? Well, I like messing with those photos.
Sure.
And I think about, man, wouldn't this kid or this AD, parent, grandparent, I goes, I've been, sometimes when I'm driving, it's so weird. I'm thinking, man, I wonder what that looked like in black and white, or if I did a black and white color with it. I'm always thinking about different edits or something I can do with a photo. He goes, man, would the kid really appreciate that? Or do they not think about it at all? I don't know what they think, but it's been a very therapeutic thing for me to be able to do this and have a moment where I can go out and support this area. It's other than doing that job that sometimes cannot be as rewarding and everything. So
it only took me 5 hours into the podcast. I got to stand. I cannot sit. I don't know what these things are. Is this on camera? What is this thing? What do you got me sitting on, Doc? I don't know. I can't sell this thing anymore. Keep going, guys. You're doing great. Where are you going? Praise the Lord. Ryan, you're doing great. You're the third Ryan of the day.
Yeah.
You're doing awesome. I'm going to ask you this right now. Don't care. Thank you, Doc. Is Doc Young on camera, hopefully? Great job. Good job. Nice shoes, bud. Nice shoes.
It's got to be the shoes.
What's next for you? What's next? You've come so far in 2 years. What's next for Ryan Zeigler Field Focus?
I don't know exactly. You never know what the future holds, but hopefully, in a few years down the road, I'm going to hit 50, and
Holy Moses!
I'm going to.
How old are you now?
I'm 46.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, and I'm going to retire when I hit 50 from DOC.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't know, maybe this landed in my lap later
Yeah.
in my life, and I was like, man, you start working with some of these younger people. I was like, man, eventually he's going to be out of college. We might be able to work together sometime. And, you don't know where these kids are going to go. They might lose interest and they might change their major or something, and they might stick with it. We've already collaborated on a lot of things. I'm like, man, here's the photo, and he does such great writing and the recaps and putting all that stuff together and the graphics and everything. And I'm like, this is what Southern Illinois needs. This is what's important. This is what should be front and center.
Yes.
We all
have
should be working together.
We have so much negativity. Working for Department of Corrections.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not going to get on my soapbox because Lord knows I could. But we have so many great things in this area. What you're doing, what Russ is doing, what Ryan Goodisky, who was here earlier, is doing at Marion High School. What Ryan, how do I say his name? I won't say it wrong.
Ryan Algrim.
Ryan Algrim's doing a great job. Talk about what's going on at SIU football and at that school. I wish we would promote more. And I have a dad that's big to him.
Yes.
So we have a lot of great things in this area. I know there's negative stuff we could talk about all day.
Yeah.
But Southern Illinois is a great place. If you love the outdoors, if you love small communities, if you love sports, good food. We have a lot of great people.
Yes.
We have plenty of great stuff that gets pushed under. That's why I'm so glad what you're doing. That means something to a kid. I saw Goodisky's face when you handed him that picture you took. He was excited about it.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's even asking for another copy for his office and everything. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to probably be up there for who knows when.
You don't realize something you're taking small, what that could mean to somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when more people have reached out, and I think the more you get it out front and center, and why I told Russ why this was such a why this is great, this podcast is great, is that you get to know people rather than they go to a game like, who's that dude down there?
Yeah.
What's he all about?
Yeah.
A player, is that a good kid? Was he raised right or something? And then you get these kids on here or someone on here and like, man, I want to support that more.
Yes.
Or I want to go root for that kid and that team. You might not even be from there, but then you come there and you go, man, that kid's a great kid. Yep. I'm going to go out there and support it. Or a Goodisky that comes on here, man, I'm going to go there and watch a Marion Wildcats game now just because I see some of the positive things that are going on there.
We have way more positives in this area than negatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on, Russ.
I absolutely agree with that. Because and that should be more front and center.
I feel like I'm going to start preaching when I'm standing up, though. You guys are going to have to make me sit down. The Pentecostals are going to come out. I'm going to start running around the building here in a minute.
Yeah.
But I completely agree, though. And it also I feel like a podcast like this kicks the rivalries almost. You know what I mean? Cale Maury, he's on here talking last week, and he's like, I don't really have much going on with Centralia. I mean, obviously, he probably doesn't like...
He will when you're at their game coming up.
Yeah,
when is that game?
It's the 12th, this Friday. I'll be there.
Yeah, this Friday, yeah. Ryan, will you be at... No,
I'll be at Heron and Carterville.
You'll be at Heron, Carterville what
That's
night?
another big rivalry.
Friday.
Oh, that's a huge rivalry.
Yeah.
Bloody Williamson.
I'll be there Friday, and then we're going to shoot Marion.
Or was that Marion Heron? I don't know.
Marion Heron was a big rivalry.
That's a huge rivalry.
Yeah, that was a
Both
big
of them are really big.
They are. Where are you going to be Saturday?
Marion and Massac County. So I always like to go over there and shoot at Marion. Just like I like to go shoot at Carterville or Heron or something. I mean, I haven't ventured out to a lot of gyms. Sure. Yeah, but I like going up to. I shot at the BIT last year, and I like Benton because it reminds me of the old Johnson City gym, what it kind of used to look like. But they also tip their hat to history. You look up in the rafters and see those retired numbers, or
Doug Collins,
JoJo Johnson,
for sure.
And then you look at the trophy case and everything. So I took time. I always get there early, and I went down there. I was looking at everything, and I was like, wow, look at this, and you got to see some really good games, So I really appreciated it.
How you want to wrap him up, Russ?
Well, Ryan, do you want to just talk about some of your favorite rivalries and talk about some of your favorite gyms that you've got to be a part of?
my favorite, you see, I wish I had a little bit more longer list of gyms I've been at, because
You have time. You're retiring in 2-3 years. You'll have a.
Well, I really want to go to Pinckneyville.
You can't say it on the podcast. Just kidding. We love you, Pinckneyville.
Yeah,
Just kidding. We love you, Pinckneyville.
Tyler.
Mount Vernon, Centralia are kind of like on my bucket list. I mean, going back up to Benton, I'd go back up to Benton.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah, I like going to Benton. I like Benton basketball. You mentioned someone my dad knows earlier, Jay Schaefer.
For sure. Yeah.
He's done a lot of work for Jay Schaefer.
Jay Schaefer played at Benton.
My dad
Played at SIU.
My dad does taxidermy work.
Okay.
So Jay's a big outdoorsman.
Sure.
So when you first see him come in there,
He's a big dude.
I was like, holy cow. I go, this dude's a lawyer? He goes, I bet he always wins the case. You know what I mean? Look at this. And Dad said, he goes, well, he played for Rich Herron.
He did both.
And he went over to SIU. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Because he's such a big guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, he goes, I like shooting. I guess one of my favorite places to shoot at is Marion. And I kind of look at it more like the space, where I'm able to shoot at and everything. Carterville's kind of like that for me. Herron, I don't mind the design or anything, but I haven't really honed in exactly on a really good spot to sit there and shoot. Yeah, I'm going to try something out.
Do you know there's 3 gyms set up the exact same way? I'm leaning in again. I don't know why, because you can pick me up from anywhere. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm asking a question somewhere. Do you know there's 3 gyms set up the exact same way?
There is?
Do you know this?
But isn't there more?
Well, name the 3 that are exactly the same.
All right. I would assume that Pinckneyville, Herron, and El Dorado.
Bingo.
And then what about Trico?
Never. Yeah, haven't been there in 18,000 years, but yes.
We just shot over there.
Is it set up the exact same way?
It's very similar.
Yeah, it is similar. Yeah, and I just shot over there for the first time during their tournament.
Do you know what Trico stands for?
I do not. Honestly. Is
it Tri-County?
Bingo.
Tri-County? Okay, so...
Do you know that West Glen, what it stands for?
Clinton.
Western Clinton County. I
didn't know that
people
one.
think it's a town. There is no town of West Glen. I'm leaning in again.
Yeah.
So there's no town. There's no town of Trico. It's Campbell Hill.
This is I knew it was Campbell Hill, but what tri-counties is it?
No clue.
Is it Randolph?
Randolph,
Perry,
Randolph,
Jackson, Perry, Jackson. I
Let's
assume.
say it.
Yeah.
Let's just say it on here.
So you
Randolph,
asked
Perry,
me about
Jackson.
a
Randolph,
favorite
Perry, Jackson.
rivalry.
Say what?
What was the other part of the question?
So what's some of your favorite rivalries? Mine's
rivalries.
Mine's
you
obviously
named your gym rivalries.
Mine's obviously Benton and Frankfurt, and that's the big one.
Is that a rivalry still? Sorry, Frankfurt. Frankfurt. I still.
I remember
love you
when
guys.
it used to be.
I
Yeah.
love. Hey, when I was in school, they beat us all the time.
Hey, I mean, it was still chippy in that football
I'm just
game.
kidding.
But
Frankfurt has a ton of great athletes.
and then-
I'm kidding around. I have a lot of.
a team down the road. I only
Team
know
down the road, but no, we're gonna have here soon a taste of Redbird here on the podcast.
Yeah, and then obviously I like Benton versus Pinckneyville. But what's some of yours? I mean, obviously you went to JC.
Oh, you mean like back from the past?
Anytime.
Now,
JC
current, future, past, present.
JC and West Frankfurt was a big rivalry back in the day. Believe it or not, that was one of our out-of-conference games.
Yeah.
Now they play in a closed conference now, but our out-of-conference was Massac County and West Frankfurt. And that was a big rivalry back then. You kind of got up for that. There was times we played them on our homecoming.
There's been some great games between Frankfurt and JC.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And now they do scrimmage.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Back in the day, Carterville and Johnson City was one. Even though, some people might not know, Carterville was in the Black Diamond back then.
When I was actually doing games for Carterville, play-by-play, they were, when I first started with them doing their games, they were with the Black Diamond still. Yeah.
Yep. That's where they won their state championship. They were in the Black Diamond.
They were.
And bumped up to 3A that year.
Yeah, but that was a phenomenal team. I was a junior that year, and Brett Dial was on that team.
Chamberlain.
And, Brock
Loveless was the quarterback.
Pinkston.
They were loaded.
Kenny Richards. Yeah. He went 3 years at Johnson City.
I was going to say Richards was JC, then Carterville.
Yeah, he
I'll
did.
let you say it.
Yeah.
I leaned in again.
Yeah, Kenny Richards was over there. They had some phenomenal linemen. Ryan Gullett, John Chamberlain.
Huge.
And smallest guy was what?
Huge.
Smallest guy was like 5'11", 230.
Holy Moses.
That might have been the center, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Cook or something? That might have been. I might have that wrong.
Can you imagine going against 6'6", 300-pound?
No, that's a huge human.
And what about Jackson Smith this year for Carterville? Was he 6'5", 350
Oh, yeah,
plus?
I seen him. Yeah. He was over there at the Trico game just standing there. He was kind of standing off
Where's
to the
he going?
I don't know if he's playing anywhere, but I know he's a big boy.
Yeah, he looked big. You know, when he's even out of the shoulder pads, I was like, man, he's just naturally big.
Yeah, he was on my All-South team. He's a big boy. He's
Yeah.
been starting since he was a freshman.
I know.
Yeah, I can see why too. I mean, it's just
It's hard to get him off the field.
right. And he did a phenomenal job out there. You know, just looking at it through the lens and everything, and watching what's going on and everything. He did a great job.
So, you obviously touched on JC, your rivalries, but now that you're kind of you're in the neutral zone now. You know, you're taking pictures for all teams. Is it tough at all to say go back and cover Carterville or something? Because I know for me, at least last year, my senior year of high school, I mean, it was tough. I had to go watch Benton versus Pinckneyville 3 times, and I was like, oh, come on, and it was tough. I mean, now this year it's a little bit easier, but it was tough.
It was different because, you know, they were a rival back then, but then I kind of put things in perspective, like where I'm at in my life now, and you remember why you're doing this. You're doing this for all the area kids now. You're all doing this. And then going over there and shooting some different, I've shot a little different stuff, Carterville events over there, either football, basketball, their softball team, and everything, some of their baseball games. And I'm like, I've never had one negative experience at Carterville. Like the community.
Class act.
Yeah,
It's a
the
class
community's been fantastic.
And
The
I can tell
kids
by
have
the
been
engagement.
cool. Huh?
I can tell by the engagement. They're very appreciative.
Oh, yeah. They reach out, you know, and they, you know, you just, I don't have one negative thing to say about that community. And, you know, like, you know, with their softball program is just phenomenal. You know, you got Will Cappy over there, which I've talked to him a few times.
I'm surprised he's not a Division I college coach.
Oh, he's just like.
I mean, seriously, I don't know if he'll stay at Carterville forever, but the success he's had there, I'm surprised it hasn't catapulted him somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, he was his assistant. Is that Ashton? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he coaches down there in their junior high level. And where I was taking pictures, they're playing Heron in the regional junior high. And he's stepping out of the dugout, and he's talking to these girls now. Goes, if we get up here, if this happens, what do you do? And this girl's repeating it back and goes, now if this happens. And then eventually she goes on the on-deck circle, and he walks back in there, and I'm like, wow, these girls are really well coached even on this level. Like that, I can see why they have that success carry on to the high school level because, man, it's really starting in the lower levels. That girl was able to, like, you know, just spit it out, you know, what this dude's looking for. Huh?
Do that again. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
It all started with Brett Dial, too. I mean, I listened to Carrie's podcast with Will Cappy, and Cappy talked about how Brett Dial poured into him as a young coach and how he got that job. And it's fun to see what Carterville has built. I mean, as a Benton guy, and you'd obviously want to be the best at everything. But but it's a Southern Illinois team, and it's just a good school over there. And Carterville, and they're good at football. How many years in a row they've made playoffs? 5 years in a row
right now.
And then basketball, they got a good tradition with Hawkins, and softball, baseball. Hey, what are they not good at, by the way?
They're you know, even in volleyball, they just won a regional in volleyball.
Yeah, and
you know, so they got some great athletes over there for sure, and I like shooting over there. But the same thing can go for Marion too. Like, you know, he just talked about Goodisky, just talked a lot about their successes and stuff over there. So we got a lot of great teams. Benton, you can say the same thing about their successes and everything. So we got a lot of great area teams to go out there and cover and everything. We're really blessed with what we have in this area to cover.
Yeah, and as I've turned to more of from high school to where I not fully give up the rivalries, because obviously I'm Benton all the way, but as high school goes on and I'm out of high school and now I'm in college, I turn away, and it really gives you a different perspective on those athletes. I mean, we've talked about the last few weeks, Jefferson County basketball, and I love covering Jefferson County, but I mean, there's just so many other good things. You got Pinckneyville, DuQuoin. It's hard for us to be Pinckneyville fans, isn't it? But
I mean, Jeremy Keith's a good friend of mine, and here's the thing. You know why people? I'm just going to say it. You know why people don't like Pinckneyville? Because they're good.
Yes, exactly.
You know, my dad used to tell me growing up, Travis, people hate us in Benton. Honestly, because we were good forever.
Yeah.
Rich Heron kicked the freaking teeth in for people for a long time. and people don't like to lose.
No.
Right.
So, and I'm leaning in again.
They hate the winner.
But listen, I respect Pinckneyville to
no doubt.
the nth degree. I
They-
mean, that is a
3
program.
coaches in the last 50 years.
Listen, that's a program. I mean, Dick
Yeah.
Korn is a disciple of Benton, and Dick Korn is up here.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
mean, 2 state championships, all the regionals, all the conference titles.
Bobby carried it on.
I mean, they. What's that?
Bobby Wagner carried it on.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner did a phenomenal job
Matt
as
Lahr's
well.
there now.
You know, Matt Lahr. I mean, we joke about it, but I mean, when you think, I don't care who I offend, I really don't care. But when you think Southern Illinois basketball, you think Pinckneyville. I mean,
Benton,
Benton's there
Centralia.
too. Centralia,
Mount
Centralia, Mount Vernon, Nashville. Some of these, but when you think immediately to your mind, Southern Illinois basketball, Panthers come up, man.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
that
They
blue.
do, and I'm not trying to take anything off any of these other schools, off Waltonville, Woodlawn, off Massac County, all these other teams in our area, but the Panthers have done it right for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And with how good they've been, it almost makes me wonder, man, how are they not the all-time winningest? I mean, they're just so good, and they've had this sustained success. I mean, there's 5 years in a row that Bobby, back in the thousands, that he had won the BIT at Benton.
Yeah, all right, Russ, we need to switch subjects.
But I mean,
I can't cuss on this broadcast, correct?
Oh boy.
but I mean that
This
just
call,
show-
well, it's a few days from Sunday, so we're still good, right? Russ, Doc, Young, do I have a
Well, are we counting this as Thursday, or do you get the blessing from Thursday, or do you get Tuesday? Which one?
well, we don't tell people what day we do this.
But yeah, Peeneyville basketball is just a great
No,
program.
I will never. I'll joke all day long,
agree.
but you're not supposed to say this stuff probably, but I'm jealous. I really am. Seriously,
Yeah,
of what
I get
they've done for 50 straight. I
Yes.
mean, there's times, and I'm a Benton Ranger through and through.
Yeah.
And we've got banners everywhere. But
Oh, yeah.
you think it doesn't bother me when I see how many times they won the Benton Invitational Tournament? They used to call it the PIT there for a while.
Yeah.
It royally ticked me off.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Make that a short.
We're already working on it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just we kind of got.
You think football? And maybe I'm getting off a little bit here because we're going in the 9th hour of the podcast. I'm still leaning in, but we're getting the shirt leaning in for me. It's gonna say leaning in. I know a guy. I know a guy that can make me some shirts.
Who's
Yeah.
that?
But 4 3 5 4 3 5. But you think football? I mean, you think Doc Young's even getting excited over there. You think DuQuoin, your Cartervilles, Johnson Cities, your Bentons. I mean, Marion's been in the playoffs nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the schools in our area you start thinking. If I've left somebody out, I'm sorry. But basketball, you think of Pinckneyville, you think of Centralia, you think of Benton, you think of Mount Vernon, you think of these teams
Yes.
that have won,
Yeah.
consistently have won. Baseball, Harrisburg comes to my mind immediately. Harrisburg's incredible in baseball. I mean, they're just that town is they've pumped out great baseball. DuQuoin's had great baseball
Marion.
teams. Heron's had. Heron was a football town for. I mean, there was a 20-year span. I mean,
Yep.
Jason Karn's football at Heron. You live in Heron. They were unbelievable.
He's former state champion, Jason Carnes.
DuQuoin Indian,
Yeah.
yes.
I watched him play Johnson City that year in the playoffs.
We'll have to have Coach Carnes on. I'll text him here in a minute. But I mean, our area is very blessed with the athletes and the athletics that we get to be a part of it. In a small part of it, it's awesome what we
We're
get
not
to do.
talking about wrestling either.
No, I have no clue.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mason Teifel.
Mason
all those.
Teifel.
Bent wrestling. I love Bent
Oh,
wrestling.
Ben Wrestling's been. I mean, you go back to the Wilsons, what they were able to do. I mean, we have great sports all over.
Yeah, and
Aaron Robinson's doing a great job at Benton now, not because he lives behind me and buys vehicles from me.
oh man, but
Leaning in.
There's a plug.
Leaning in.
But Ryan, I mean, we kind of got off track there. We were talking about a bunch of different things there the past couple minutes, but we just want to appreciate, everything you do for Southern Illinois sports. Because I feel like it's obviously about the kids. It's about the
Yes.
kids getting the images and all that, being able to have it, being able to do anything they want with it. But more people need to recognize, hey, this guy's out here doing it for completely free. He's traveling. He went up to Springfield, cover Carterville.
Yep.
Let's recognize him more because you just gave Goodisky 3 images today to give to the kids.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, obviously Tony Kendrick does that, but
Tony Kendricks does do that, yes.
we just need to recognize more guys like you and Tony, because I mean, the kids really appreciate all that.
Troy Clark in Murfreesboro too does that.
Troy Clark,
Ryan, you're doing it for the right reasons. What he's trying to say.
yes.
In a preacher type of
I don't-
14-minute thing to say it. You're doing it for the right reasons.
I don't know where it came from either. You know, just one day I just decided, hey, this sounds like a good idea. You know, and I just can't. I've done that an awful lot. I actually look forward to finding a photo and. You know, I just went and shot that Trico tournament, and my camera shoots more frames per second now. So now I got like 3,500 images to look through, and I got like 3,500 images to look through, and I'm looking through everything, and I go, man, I bet they appreciate this, or man, I just look forward to hunting through there. I wonder what I can print off. What can I do? You know what I mean? Oh my! So I really appreciate that.
Yep.
We appreciate you coming on, bro. It's been awesome.
Yep. I switched completely different tires, it feels like. I mean, Travis flipped my hat around.
It looks great with that.
Well, I thought you were doing the over the top, you know, like you're really going to switch into the, what's he say? He turns into the truck?
Yes.
I turn into the truck. This is where I'm going to go
If you
over
start
the
saying you've turned into 9, I'm out of here.
Over the top, Mike. Yeah. You might not know. Do you know what over the top
He
is?
has no clue what we're talking
I
about.
honestly don't know.
Oh my, you got to
So
watch
it's-
that.
oh my
You
gosh.
got to watch that one, dude.
Sylvester Stallone, baby.
Yeah. That's how he switched personalities. That's how he won all the arm wrestling contests.
Come on,
is
man.
by
When you
flip.
came out, you weren't even born. Ryan and I were like 10.
Yeah, we grew up in a really good era.
Came out in the 80s, man.
Well, just again, I mean, we just appreciate you coming on, and obviously I'll see you Saturday night there at Marion, but you go back to work.
Yeah, I'll end up going back to work tomorrow. I took off just to be a part of this. I would come back just to watch it because I think this is really good for Southern Illinois. I think you're going to have some really good guests on here. You already had some. You're going to have some more in the future. I guarantee it. The more this keeps on catching on.
It's just like you, Ryan, with Russ and I, and what Russ does besides the big show. It's promoting Southern Illinois.
Yeah, this is so promoting the athletes, and we got some really good games.
Great schools, great. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we got some great schools around here. There's some good games going on.
Yep.
People need to go out, and if you don't got much out there doing, go catch one of these games.
Yeah, no
go
doubt.
see what these kids are doing and everything, and go out there and support them.
Well, let's.
Awesome.
We really appreciate you again. I know we keep emphasizing that, but we'll catch you.
We'll catch you on the flippity flip.
Yeah,
and,
I'll be at some games and everything. Anybody that watches this, you just go to Field Focus. Every time you see me at a game, I upload all my images there. Hey, it's completely.
Follow him on Field Focus on the gram and on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah, well, you're more than welcome to any of the photos. Anybody, kids, grandparents, anybody affiliated with the athletics, from school, whatever. It does not bother me at all. I'm doing it out there to support the area. I'm not doing it necessarily for my personal benefit, other than I just enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
What a way. Awesome, brother. Thank you.
That's what Ballin4God should be about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now we're finished with this.
Yes.
Let's see.
It's weird. It's like weird how to end it. Because
All right, so now we're on to our outro, and guess what? We're back.
we're back. We're back.
And
Hitting hard again.
It was obviously a good episode with the 3 big Ryans. We could have got. Do you want to try to get more Ryans on?
I'd love to have more Ryans. We'd love to have more Ryans. I wish we had Ryan's Buffet still. I wish we still had it.
Ryan's Buffet was a good one.
Yeah, just get in there and plow.
Yeah, we should start Ryan's Buffet back up.
Should do it.
Get all the Ryans into
All
Ryan's
of them
Buffet.
there. Would love to have the interviews there as we're eating our 7th piece of fried chicken.
Yes. All right. Well, but we just want to thank you guys for tuning in because this is obviously a good episode. Getting to hear from SIU football player, getting to hear from a Marion athletic director, then getting to hear from a photographer. I think we've done a very good job about having a variety of people on. Obviously, with coaches, referees, athletic directors, media people, players.
We try to be a little buffet. You know what I mean? Some
Ryan's
people
Buffet.
hey, we're Ryan's Buffet. Some people want to hear Ryan Goodisky. Some people want to hear Ryan Algrim. Some people want to hear Ryan Zeigler. Some people want to hear all those people. But let's be honest. I've been in sales since I came out of the womb. Not everybody wants to hear all those guys. Sometimes people will just click on things they want to hear or listen to and watch. I don't have that big of an ego to think, well, every single person that watches this is watching the whole thing. So I think it's good that we kind of hit all facets. We hit players, we hit coaches, we hit media, we hit referees. That kind of gives everybody a chance to, hey, let's face it. There's a reason why the socials have the Gram, X, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok for Terry Gower, TikTok, Truth Social. I mean, there's all that stuff for a reason. You know what I mean?
Truth Social's probably the best one.
I just got to plug in there. This is unbelievable. Penn State, Indiana's coming up next. All right.
So, but just thank you guys for sticking out, because obviously it's another.
How about
long
us standing
episode.
up? How about us standing up?
I know.
I finally got to stand up.
Yep. And guess what? I know we keep saying we're gonna be back, but guess what? Jesse Young did. I don't know what he went around.
Red Lake Cabins in the Woods has not got enough plugs on this Big Show podcast on Ballin4God. Rend Lake Cabins in the Woods. Rend Lake Cabins in the Woods. Unbelievable. This place today where we're at.
We're in the lighthouse.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. We got a turkey up here. We got a 15,000 point buck up here. 15,000 point buck up here. That's unreal, man.
98-inch TV.
Not even making this up. Will the camera get that? We have a 98-inch TV that thankfully Dr. Young finally figured out how to put something on. We're watching a ball game right now.
We're watching Michigan versus Villanova.
We are right now.
And it's a blowout.
This place is unbelievable. Rent this place.
Yes, but
it's been a lot of fun this week.
Yes, I would agree, and it's been fun. It's been long, but every week's long. We talked about shortening it down.
No! Remember when I first talked to you about this? Let's do these for about an hour. I say we do it for 17 hours, something like that.
If you want to start, let's do a 24-hour episode.
I wish we could just keep going. Just 24 hours. Just nonstop, like a loop. Just a nonstop loop.
Well, just thank you guys for tuning in. And
wait, we forgot to do it. I just got someone that texted me and we forgot. Listen, if you want to watch this, Russ does not shamelessly promote himself enough. Ballin4God. Ballin, the number 4, God. We haven't even done the verse of the day yet. Ballin4God on Instagram. Ballin4God on X, on Facebook, on Truth Social. It's all out there. It's all out there. Ballin4God is everywhere. Rush, you got to promote yourself more. Tell everybody where to find you.
Find on TikTok, Instagram,
it's on
Facebook, YouTube. And if you can't tell, we're at the pool table.
We're at the pool table. And Russ did not read the verse of the day yet, Russ.
We got to get to this, and it's from...
Unbelievable.
Hey, you probably are going to think
But it's from Psalms.
It's from Romans. And
ooh, the Roman road leading people to Christ.
Okay, where'd it go? I just had it pulled
up.
He
lost it.
Hey, Kentucky's win tonight, by the way.
Oh, about time Mark Pope's going to get fired.
Here it is. I'm holding the pool ball. There is therefore now no condemnation for those who are in Jesus Christ, for the law of the Spirit of the life has set you free in Christ Jesus from the law of sin and death. Amen. Romans 8:1-2.
8:1 and 2. Great. Romans is a great book of the Bible, and if you're trying to lead someone to the Lord, obviously we can't do it as human beings, but reading the Word, there's a lot of part of Romans that it can help your life and it can help other people, and that's
the Romans road.
The Roman road, man. It's awesome.
Well, we'll close this out as we almost forgot it again, but verse of the week, it was Romans 8:1-2, and we obviously checked out Trivia Thursday, so make sure to check that out again at the beginning. And just thank you guys for tuning in, because obviously 3 Ryans, that's a lot to fit in here. But
I'm just excited we're bringing Ryan's Buffet back.
I know, we're bringing it back. And
this is awesome.
We're bringing Ryan's Buffet back. You know what? We need to have they have Thanksgiving dinner. We need to have a Ryan dinner.
We should have a Ryan dinner. Yeah. We should have a Ryan Day. No pun intended, Ohio State. Ryan Day, get it?
Yeah.
All right. We better end on that one.
We'll catch you guys next week for episode 6.
It's going to be a big one.
And we'll be at the apartment.
Still Rend Lake Cabins in the Woods, right?
Yep, they sponsor it.
It's going to be awesome.
Yep, Jesse Young owns the place.
Dr. Young's father, brother, uncle, something. I don't know. I broke the mic. I'm out of here. I'm done.
Catch you guys later.